A make Leo calls himself a jobless noob among players. Today he joins another raid party chasing dungeon loot, but Crimson system warnings flood his vision without explanation, leaving Leo sweating over whatever disaster just selected him. A shadowy creature suddenly grabs him with murderous intent, and the system cannot even identify this nightmare. This encounter will change Leo's fate, but context comes first. 10 years earlier, MMORPG Dungeons and Monsters invaded reality. Survivors awakened as players while ruined cities faced monsters. Leo only cleans corpses while real players collect bonuses. Mocked as useless, he scavenges dungeon scraps to survive. One veteran suspects Leo once escaped something much worse, and the thought drags him back to that unique dungeon. Centered on Sakurada Hospital, the dangerous B-rank gate remained uncleared. Leo escaped alive and became a player without awakening a job. So years later, he remains trapped working as a guide, until B-rank jurist Luca orders the team onward. Luca checks their status and Leo reports ideal positioning. The central zone promises weak monsters and ridiculous profits, so Luca confidently leads everyone toward a single run clear. Leo knows the central area means near certain death, so he desperately asks Luca to reconsider the route. Nankumin is no ordinary B-rank dungeon despite its records, and Leo urges them to gather monster data first. Luca answers by grabbing the powerless guide's throat, lifting Leo effortlessly while the party watches in silence. The smug jurist orders this jobless loser to obey, forcing Leo to swallow his warning and apologize. Luca still kicks Leo down for daring to disagree, so Leo surrenders and agrees to guide them centrally, yet a sinister presence already waits among the ruins. While Luca orders his worthless guide back onto his feet, Leo meekly complies, hiding anger behind nervous laughter. But Luca strikes again because cruelty apparently needs practice. Then complains Leo's face somehow dirtied his hand, humiliated and cornered. Leo quietly plans his escape. Soon the party reaches Nankumin's shattered central district, where Luca sees nothing unusual and marches forward. Leo recognizes a monster nest and welcomes the coming chaos. Then one B-rank creature finally crawls into view. An entire swarm follows, surrounding Luca's confident party. But Luca calmly unleashes a roaring wave of fire, incinerating the B-rank monsters like disposable kindling. Leo realizes Luca nearly possesses an A-ranker's strength and bitterly envies power granted by an awakened job. Suddenly, Leo's detection ability reacts to something unnatural, warning that a monstrous presence is rapidly closing in. Yet Luca dismisses the jobless guide's desperate alarm. While flames finish swallowing the remaining lesser monsters, the ground suddenly cracks beneath the celebrating party, dropping every player into a hidden chamber below, where Luca immediately blames Leo for the obvious trap before a far greater monster emerges through the dust. Leo's detection vanishes completely, which makes no sense, and Luca kicks him aside while admiring their opponent. A grotesque boss monster invites the humans to play, triggering Leo's timed system mission as Luca attacks first. The delighted jurist promises to burn everything into ashes, but Leo senses the strike has already failed, because the boss vanishes before Luca's fire connects. Luca orders everyone alert while ghostly traces surround them, yet even the arrogant jurist cannot locate their enemy. The boss suddenly crashes down and attacks the party. One swordsman charges, assuming she is nothing special, only for an elongated arm to snatch him instantly. The gleeful creature flings players around like broken toys, slaughtering the entire team beneath a storm of limbs. Leo watches in horror as nobody remains standing, then scans her, but every system entry reads unknown, leaving him helpless against power he cannot understand. One casual blow launches Leo straight through a wall, and he collapses alone amid the falling rubble, while the boss crawls across Luca's defeated party, suddenly catching a scent she finds strangely familiar. As the battered Leo braces for his inevitable death, she instead leans close and calls him daddy, which leaves Leo more confused than relieved, because this enormous daughter makes absolutely zero sense. But her mistake gives Leo one desperate possibility, and the terrified noob finally finds an escape plan. The monster introduces herself as Suzuko and demands home, leaving Leo surrounded by grasping hands and terrible options. He plays daddy, ordering his monstrous daughter to listen, but Suzuko's fleshy prison swallows him anyway. Death suddenly unlocks Leo's hidden job, Dreadkeeper. Then he awakens safely, confused about surviving consumption. Sunlight and familiar furniture confirm Leo is alive, except he has somehow returned to his old home on January 30th of the year 2100, exactly 10 years before Paradise Heaven first appeared, meaning death activated an ability to redo his life. Leo celebrates his second chance as red pixels gather. Then Suzuko materializes behind Daddy inside the apartment, and the startled returner crashes painfully onto the floor, while his new daughter announces her stomach is empty, leaving Leo wondering how she followed him through time. Suzuko happily recognizes Daddy's familiar scent and taste, convincing him he might get eaten twice in one day. Instead, she licks Leo affectionately, awaiting proper food, then asks what dinner Daddy will serve his hungry Suzuko. Suzuko demands food immediately, terrifying her unprepared father, so Leo promises dinner and scrambles toward the kitchen, returning with every canned chicken container he owns, which he offers entirely to his ravenous new daughter. Suzuko celebrates by squeezing Leo with dangerous affection, then declares her love while Daddy barely survives, leaving him wondering whether everything is a delusion, until Suzuko eagerly grabs another entire chicken can. devouring metal and meat without the slightest distinction. While Leo assumes one feast should finally satisfy her, then his system confirms an awakened hidden job. Dreadkeeper lets Leo resurrect and commands Suzuko, but her incomplete condition raises one disturbing question. Perhaps mastering Suzuko could unlock control over other bosses. Unfortunately, starvation makes kept monsters attack anyone nearby, and Suzuko remains hungry barely 5 minutes later. So Leo reassures her while inventing another meal, asking his impatient daughter to wait just a little, because a reliable father should never appear panicked, especially while one wrong move could restart the apocalypse. Gentle head pats make Suzuko forget every former insult, so Leo cautiously reaches toward his monstrous daughter, earning a crushing hug from one delighted good girl, while Daddy desperately begs her to let him breathe. Before an urgent news report interrupts their bonding, and the television signal collapses into corrupted static, Leo rushes closer, hoping his suspicion is wrong, but the dungeon advent has arrived much earlier. As the Black Forest manifests above the city, and a mass of giant eyes targets Leo directly, confirming the impossible dungeon has already found him, green energy drags the startled returner toward its gaze, until Suzuko lunges between Daddy and the eyeball, furiously ordering this intrusive pest to go away. Her power instantly frees Leo from the eyeball's control. Then Suzuko lifts Daddy, declaring him exclusively hers, while the rescued man begs to touch solid ground, and promises food before hunger causes another catastrophe. Yet the strange tremor leaves both of them unsettled, as a painful red mark suddenly burns across Leo's cheek. The system detects Suzuko and strengthens the Black Forest, then gives Leo 72 hours to clear its curse, or he will remain imprisoned inside the dungeon forever. As grasping vines immediately coil around Suzuko's limbs, and vicious tree yokai emerge from the green darkness, leaving Leo trapped in one spectacularly hellish situation, especially since Suzuko was already difficult enough. But his daughter sees the incoming monsters as food, flashing a hungry grin before beginning her feast, then charging headlong into the Black Forest horde, smashing tree yokai apart with overwhelming physical power, and earning Leo experience with every monster consumed, while each bite steadily restores Suzuko's hunger gauge, even granting her wild conversion from devoured tree yokai. Empowered Suzuko keeps pulverizing everything within reach, until her hunger finally recovers completely from monsters, letting Leo focus on breaking the unfamiliar curse. Because this Naru City dungeon replaced future Nankyumin, and the timeline's crucial difference is Suzuko's presence. While she generously offers Daddy one half-eaten yokai, Leo realizes the dungeon wants Suzuko eliminated first, so its curse targets her owner through their bond, giving him 72 hours to escape or clear everything. An absurd challenge with Suzuko and Endless Forest combined, before another tremor interrupts Leo's desperate planning, and a fresh Kyo horde erupts around him. Suzuko rushes to Daddy and activates Wild Conversion, summoning green tendrils that spear through approaching monsters, then binding the entire swarm with stolen forest power. While Leo praises his daughter and confirms his safety, finally understanding Suzuko absorbed the Kyo's combat skill, but the captured yokai suddenly begin glowing dangerously. Leo grabs Suzuko and warns her to retreat, moments before a violent blast tears upward through Naruse. 24 hours later, the Black Forest dominates downtown, where Luca leads survivors using remembered enemy weaknesses, because in this timeline he was a confident beta tester, though his frightened team still struggles behind him, until Luca recognizes an unexpected rank 2 Kyo, and the towering forest spirit rises directly before him. The survivors panic because this Kyo differs from previous ones, but Luca calmly claims he knows the solution, then whistles to signal his hidden trump card, and loudly calls for a nearby job holder, whose blue energy crashes straight into the Kyo, burying the monster beneath a towering azure blast. As a young woman lands confidently amid the smoke, revealed as Rank F jurist Hayashi Miki, who dismisses the Rank 2 Kyo as effortless prey, while Luca boasts that following his orders guarantees victory, and the rescued crowd erupts in grateful celebration, though Miki notices how skillfully Luca sways strangers. Before more Kyo suddenly corner the exhausted jurist, leaving her desperate to learn why Luca intervened. So he explains that job holders are vital dungeon allies, introducing himself as beta tester Luca and inviting her to become a hero, while Miki doubts any ordinary salaryman can conquer escalating monsters. Elsewhere, Suzuko celebrates her devastating forest rampage, eagerly asking Daddy to repeat their dangerous fun, but Leo fears dying and hears Luca demand obedience. Recognizing younger Luca, Leo considers joining his dungeon campaign, when Suzuko suddenly senses something approaching and spots an entire Kyo swarm climbing her tree, excitedly mistaking the advancing monsters for delicious food, while Leo panics at their rapid ascent and survivors watch the enormous tree begin moving, though Miki dismisses their alarm as pointless overreaction, until Luca realizes the shifting trunk means disaster, as its massive wooden body starts splitting apart, prompting Luca to urgently call Hayashi Miki and order her away before the collapse. But the gigantic tree crashes down across the battlefield, where Leo awakens alive with a strangely soft sensation, only for Miki to address the trapped stranger coldly, warning him to stop squirming against her. While flustered, Leo insists their position was accidental, and denies Miki's accusation that he felled the tree, before Suzuko bursts through rubble searching for Daddy, gleefully declaring she finally found him. as Leo and Miki stare up in sudden terror. Leo prepares to settle Suzuko's dangerous misunderstanding, but Miki steps forward and orders him back, vowing that heroes never abandon monsters to danger, while Suzuko happily accepts her new opponent and challenges the jurist to attack her, leaving Leo stunned that Miki misidentified Suzuko as helpless, before the jurist charges with crackling blue power, surrounding Suzuko inside a spinning energy formation, then launching countless glowing spears from every direction, as Leo desperately warns his daughter to dodge, yet Suzuko merely watches the incoming barrage, and Miki confidently targets a supposed opening, driving her strongest spear directly toward the monster, though Leo worries about Miki instead of Suzuko and rushes over asking whether she survived, anxiously hoping the jurist has not died, before discovering Miki only lost consciousness, while hungry Suzuko asks permission to eat her. But Leo forbids it and recognizes Luca's jurist ally, realizing her rescue could earn him Luca's cooperation. Leo asks Suzuko for one important favor, requesting that she remain hidden for a while, which leaves the hungry monster visibly disappointed, until he promises delicious food for hiding properly, and Suzuko eagerly agrees to await her treat before fading away through her strange monster power, immediately weakening Leo's curse once she disappears. So he plans to let Luca locate the boss for Suzuko, then carries unconscious Miki away from the ruins, greeting her warmly when she finally awakens, and claiming the hostile monster fled thanks to her. While confused, Miki struggles to recall the battle, finding only scattered fragments inside her memory, before Leo urges her toward a safer location, secretly deciding to conceal Suzuko behind a false identity, introducing himself as Himajin while learning Miki's full name, and cheerfully accepting her invitation to call her Miki Ni, as hidden Suzuko quietly follows her treasured daddy, while Leo orders her to trail them silently, and Suzuko obediently accepts her stealth mission. Miki warns Himajin not to become separated as their small group crosses the devastated city, where Luca demands updates from his search teams, only to learn Miki still remains missing, making him angrily order everyone to hurry, while nervous survivors promise they will find her, because Luca desperately needs Miki's incredible exclusive ability and refuses to abandon the ongoing search, until Miki casually calls out to Luca, drawing an immediate cry of recognition from him as the relieved beta tester welcomes her back, before noticing the unfamiliar young man beside her, and learning that Himajin supposedly rescued Miki, while Leo greets his younger former companion under that alias, then boldly asks to join Luca's party, which Luca accepts despite finding Himajin deeply suspicious, before secretly activating his exclusive identification skill, only for the system's analysis to trigger a warning, declaring its inquiry failed and Himajin impossible to identify. While smiling, Leo calls Luca boss and hides his concern. Luca's system keeps repeating that every scan failed, leaving the self-proclaimed savior visibly shaken, because his exclusive ability has never failed before, and Miki anxiously asks what troubles her boss, when an unseen force suddenly startles Luca backward, as hidden Suzuko asks whether daddy is okay, sending Luca crashing onto the floor in confusion, while Leo quickly conceals his daughter's interference, and Miki cannot understand Luca's strange reaction, though Leo realizes Suzuko deliberately frightened him before a deafening explosion shakes their shelter, and flames erupt violently through the nearby district, revealing that the timber factory has exploded as frightened survivors flee the spreading inferno, and burning trees begin moving like living creatures. But Leo waits because his detection remains active, sensing that the monsters are strangely agitated, while supernatural fire gathers around the awakening forest, prompting Leo to urgently demand everyone's attention, as the confused survivors turn toward his warning. Leo announces that rank 3 timber yokai are approaching, moments before a blazing tree monster towers above them, making Luca suspect Himajin possesses equal savior potential, and imagine the newcomer stealing his leadership, while the growing boss bonus feeds Luca's paranoia, and the system generates an item during novice protection, because each dungeon permits only one savior. So Luca seizes command and orders a counterattack, only for Miki to warn him of incoming danger, as a fiery strike blasts Luca across the battlefield, forcing exhausted Miki to order Leo away with everyone, while another burning root smashes through the street, and Leo realizes the timber yokai continue evolving, until a gigantic flaming creature emerges from the blaze, launching itself toward the trapped party with crushing force, as Miki shoves Leo away and screams his alias. Though Leo cannot simply abandon everyone and run, while starving Suzuko finally decides to eat the monsters, extending a monstrous claw from her hidden form, before charging toward her promised treat with delight. Suzuko collides violently with the blazing timber yokai, while Miki braces against the resulting shockwave, and the monster girl calls her enemy a whole roast, sinking her teeth directly into its burning body. Though Leo knows feeding her strengthens his curse again, before discovering synchronization can borrow one kept monster's skill, making him wonder whether every monster might call him daddy. As he summons Suzuko back from her feast, then tells Miki this distraction is their best chance, proposing they locate and defeat the dungeon boss, because Luca should already know its position, and Miki agrees before the timber yokai evolve further, sending both racing away from the raging battle, while the true boss waits beneath Naru City's ruins, ruins, surrounded by sinister flowers and twisting black vines, as its enthralled followers gleefully claim another victim. And Luca's party identifies the floral scent as proof, though Luca only wants the boss bonus for himself, before corrupted survivors close around his group, shocking Luca with their sudden transformation. The flower-controlled humans advance like green-eyed monsters, but Luca orders everyone to remain calm, confident the savior bonus makes this difficulty manageable, even against enemies rivaling rank 3 timber yokai, until he realizes each puppet is a level E nobody, then cuts down one follower for defying the savior, earning a subjugation bonus and possible level E job card, while horrified survivors demand to know what Luca has done. And Luca compares their enormous rewards against ordinary yokai, deciding to farm points from everyone around him, before turning his generated weapon upon former allies. As Leo and Miki discover unmistakable traces of slaughter, and hear terrified survivors warning that Luca has snapped, revealing bodies scattered throughout the underground ruin, until Miki confronts bloodstained Luca among his victims. But he insists she has misunderstood everything, while Miki condemns him for murdering their allies. And Luca blames the madness on nearby flowers, leaving Miki confused by the seemingly harmless scent, before Luca explains it converts victims into the boss's underlings. Then Luca falsely claims he became an underling too, ordering Miki to kill him as she begs for another solution. But Luca dismisses her desperate beta testing knowledge and offers one alternative when she refuses murder, drawing Miki close before revealing his true intention. As Luca suddenly swings his enormous system blade, striking the shocked jurist with a blue flash and smashing her violently into the concrete floor, while calling Miki an NPC beneath the protagonist, admitting he only rescued her for a high-level job, before demanding she fulfill one final role and activating a job card to steal from a living target, beginning forced extraction of Miki's power as system energy tears the jurist's class away, until Leo's voice interrupts Luca from nearby, and the disguised veteran approaches their confrontation, awkwardly asking whether he arrived at a bad time, while Luca welcomes this perfectly timed opportunity, though Leo pretends not to understand his meaning, and Luca claims he is the superior actor. Leo notices Luca's strange behavior but avoids provoking him, planning escape until Suzuko can rescue Miki, when blue spectral force suddenly closes around him as Luca's will manifests physically despite lacking a job. And Luca accuses Leo of ignoring Miki's level S ability, which reveals information even Leo never knew, before Luca declares them both time-slip saviors, making Leo realize his old companion also returned through time, and remember how unpredictable such calamity-level players become, while Luca demands his rival's true objective. So Leo chooses deception to buy Suzuko time, claiming the dungeon's changes were entirely his work, which finally earns Luca's interested attention, as the two time-slippers face each other warily, and Leo praises Luca's supposedly successful scheme, secretly deciding to perform his bluff completely, then calls the harder dungeon thrilling and destabilizes Luca's resolve, though Luca remains fascinated by the changing bonus, until restrained Miki weakly calls Leo's alias, and condemns both men as completely insane. Enraged, Luca kicks the helpless Miki for speaking, while Leo regrets that she believed his performance, and Luca successfully obtains her level's Jurist job card, marveling at the stolen class's immediate power. Because stealing NPC jobs is easier than awakening naturally, before Luca proposes genuine cooperation with Leo, when rumbling monsters suddenly interrupt his offer, and corrupted underlings charge the startled savior, making Leo question cooperation with their summoner, though his bluff briefly leaves him scrambling for an answer, until Luca laughs at the childish deception, and launches himself forward wrapped in stolen energy, while Leo flatly refuses partnership with someone like him, as their clash tears through the underground chamber, and Luca is driven backward into shattered rubble, desperately insisting that he remains the true savior, before Suzuko appears and declares she needs no savior, because the monster daughter only came seeking daddy, leaving Luca horrified to discover Leo controlled her, while Leo shamelessly confirms his parental role, forcing desperate Luca to beg for cooperation, but Suzuko angrily insists daddy is no child, then asks to leave because she feels sleepy. So Leo first orders her to handle their enemies, and Suzuko eagerly tears through the remaining underlings, while Leo checks injured Miki's condition, only to find the exhausted jurist barely conscious, and wonder what Luca's extraction did to her before Miki weakly stirs beside his hand. As Suzuko returns with unexpected drowsiness, and Leo asks whether her battle is finished, but she collapses around Daddy promising protection, leaving Leo unable to rouse the sleeping monster, while every hostile creature also becomes inactive. And even Leo's deadly curse abruptly disappears, revealing the rank C Black Forest boss behind everything. As synchronization grants Leo Whisperflower's ghost transformation, letting his spectral body slip through restraining vines, though Leo hesitates to abandon unconscious Suzuko, and Whisperflower claims escape is already impossible. As Whisperflower reveals every nearby plant serves as her eyes, and the fragrance Leo inhaled is part of her too, making escape look impossible even in spectral form, before she lovingly admires the motionless Suzuko, calling the powerful monster exactly her preferred prey, confirming Suzuko was her target from the beginning, since eating Suzuko's eye gave Whisperflower intelligence, and continued evolution might restore her mysterious master's favor, whom she worships as the creator and god of monsters, while dismissing Leo as a mere keeper imposter, shocking him with her knowledge of his hidden job. Then noting Suzuko calls Leo daddy and received his power, yet mocking their bond as manipulation and imitation. While Leo calmly recalls keepers exist to keep monsters and realizes Whisperflower only wants a meal, but she instead offers him survival as her slave, which Leo laughs off as a generous offer before defiantly refusing without a trace of fear, prompting Whisperflower's delighted laughter across the ruins. As she declares Leo has no say anymore, forcing Leo back into a frantic retreat, while Ghost transformation drops to 10 remaining minutes, making him race to awaken Suzuko before it expires. As Whisperflower orders her monsters to capture him alive, and a transformed brute suddenly blocks Leo's path, leaving him frustrated and nearly out of options, until he desperately searches for another solution, and spots Miki's discarded job card nearby, reasoning that if Luca used it, perhaps he can too, so Leo snatches the glowing card mid-battle. But the level jurist job rejects his player awakening. Just as Ghost transformation finally expires, yet Leo refuses surrender and activates synchronization again, gaining Eye of Truth alongside Monster Devouring, before Whisperflower attacks to stop Suzuko's borrowed powers, and crushing mental pressure tears through Leo's focus, breaking the synchronization link under Scarlet Chains. While Monsters seize him as the system forcibly aborts, and Whisperflower condemns Leo to die inside her memories, where Eye of Truth reveals the monster's true form, as a spiritual corruption depth opens inside Whisperflower, shocking Leo with an upper-tier phenomenon inside a ranked dungeon, while remembering Suzuko killed him in his previous life, and wondering whether meeting her brought fortune or disaster, until Leo awakens alive within a white void, where his active system screen confirms the illusion continues, and an unfamiliar door conceals a supposed masterpiece, prompting Leo to pull it open without hesitation, revealing a blurry creator surrounded by scattered research notes, as Leo realizes he entered a projected memory, where the eccentric researcher commands new life to awaken, making Leo recognize an embarrassingly theatrical personality, before the creator summons his greatest masterpiece, and Leo braces for the impossible revelation as a newly born girl quietly asks what she is, then receives the name Suzuko from her creator, which the confused monster slowly tries to repeat, before accepting his offered hand with innocent trust, and agreeing to call her mysterious creator daddy, leaving young Suzuko smiling brightly at her new father. Though her sudden hunger reveals a terrifying predatory nature, which the creator casually settles with a command. While Leo notices this Suzuko differs drastically from today, and watches daddy call her his grandest creation. Before the innocent monster asks what awaits them, and agrees to join daddy in saving the world, then both figures dissolve as that memory ends, leaving Leo with too little information about the creator's goal, until another memory begins beyond the same door, despite Leo immediately recognizing the obvious lure as Suzuko greets her long-missed daddy inside, and he unveils research capable of transforming everything, naming the animal-like flower experiment Whisperflower, which Leo recognizes as the Black Forest boss, though daddy calls it incomplete beside perfect Suzuko, and theatrically laments his unfinished creation, prompting loyal Suzuko to eagerly offer help while asking what she can do for him. So daddy requests Suzuko's power with unsettling warmth, and accepts only after she confirms her willingness, before asking for something Suzuko uniquely possesses, then casually selecting one of her eyes, stunning Leo with the creator's monstrous request, while loyal Suzuko agrees without any hesitation, and tears out her own eye for daddy, making Leo mysteriously feel her unbearable pain, as Suzuko obediently presents the bloody offering, proudly hoping daddy will never need another helper, while Leo collapses beneath the shared agony, and the creator praises his mutilated daughter, driving Leo into furious disbelief at his cruelty, before daddy demonstrates the stolen eye's power, commanding Whisperflower to consume Suzuko's sacrifice, which successfully completes the experiment's central eye, as enraged Leo lunges toward the untouchable memory, condemning the creator for experimenting on his child, though the projected figure scatters beneath Leo's punch, leaving him raging at the vanished criminal and questioning why Suzuko's pain reached him, until the mysterious door appears once again, multiplying into countless entrances around the trapped Leo, even though he never touched another handle, as every door opens and releases Suzuko's suffering, showing daddy harvest her eye, limbs, heart, and memories, until horrified laughter escapes Leo's breaking mind, and he realizes Suzuko was merely monster feed, while another memory shows her desperately missing daddy, before the creator returns beside her wounded body, making abandoned Suzuko rejoice that daddy visited, only for him to introduce a hungry monster family which eagerly surges toward the weakened girl, as daddy orders her to play with the strangers, then calls Suzuko irreparable and asks forgiveness, while his monsters maul her despite her desperate pleas, and Leo shares her agony while urging courage, declaring both himself and her creator false fathers, as Eye of Truth synchronization reaches 50%, and Leo vows to become Suzuko's real daddy, snapping awake to mock Whisperflower's hideous face, while the startled boss questions his recovered consciousness, before promising to drag Leo through hell again, but Leo fearlessly dares the monster to try, as another crushing wave assaults his mind, though Suzuko's remembered pain makes this torment meaningless, and Leo repeatedly forces synchronization through the corruption, combining 3 abilities while spiritual corruption reaches depth 5, then vowing to devour every creature threatening Suzuko, because turning Whisperflower's hunger against her seems fair, as Leo bursts free from the monster pile and seizes one stunned creature with predatory delight before biting into the beast for power, leaving the surrounding monsters frozen in terror, though Leo complains their flesh tastes disgusting, while synchronization climbs to 70% at depth 20, and he demands even more monsters to consume, prompting Whisper Flower to question his suicidal resolve before sending him back inside her lethal memories, where Leo assures Suzuko she need not fear, and the wounded girl wonders whether he is daddy, so Leo admits he was not before but is now, while dismissing Whisper Flower's claim that nothing is real, despite her warning that willpower constructed this deadly memory, and absorbing a monster's will can poison human souls, as 90% synchronization lets Leo reject her revolting memories, leaving Whisper Flower convinced the human has gone insane, while Leo taunts her to put him asleep again, and notices her summoned monsters suddenly releasing him, before impatiently demanding she use them against him, making the cornered boss recoil from his madness, as Leo vows to punish Suzuko's creator thousands of times, until his willpower overcomes Whisper Flower and unlocks Rearing, allowing Leo to keep the level C boss, while his overwhelming will leaves her unable to move, and the stolen force makes Leo even stronger, before he accepts keeping Whisper Flower with a sinister smile, then summons Suzuko to meet her new playmate, as furious Suzuko asks who injured her daddy, and Leo permits her to eat Whisper Flower if bored, prompting the boss to deny hurting him immediately. But Suzuko calls her a liar without hesitation, then crushes Whisper Flower for the dishonest answer, while Leo rushes over to check injured Miki, who recognizes him only through the alias Himajin, and hears he is one willful daughter's father, before Leo warns that removing her sword will hurt, making Miki's eyes flare with sudden suspicion as she grabs Leo and pins him down, accusing Himajin of serving the madman Luca, until Leo explains Luca alone deceived her and notes an enemy would never stop her bleeding, though the treatment remains temporary until she moves the blade, prompting embarrassed Miki to release him and apologize. While Leo checks her mind and body's condition, despite Miki feeling far from completely restored, because Luca extracted and stole her jurist job, leaving Miki flustered when Leo examines her closely, before he proposes a risky recovery method requiring her help, which Miki accepts without demanding any details, making Leo question how quickly she agreed. Though grateful, Miki simply declares that she trusts him, as Leo calls Suzuko from behind Miki, overwhelming the wounded jurist with monstrous pressure, until she realizes Himajin must be Suzuko's daddy, before Leo asks his daughter for another favor, offering better food if she releases Whisper Flower briefly, and Suzuko cheerfully agrees to the exchange, while Leo covers Miki's eyes from the process, as Suzuko regurgitates the furious boss alive, leaving Miki horrified while Leo praises his daughter, and Whisper Flower crashes painfully onto the ground before Leo reveals his request for Miki, asking the powerless jurist to obliterate Whisper Flower, but the boss warns them against underestimating her, then summons another horde of corrupted monsters, including a massive brute towering over everyone, making Miki recoil from the endless reinforcements, and wonder why Leo revived her against so many, while Suzuko offers to devour the entire horde, yet Leo refuses and claims the battle is finished, as Whisper Flower threatens to take them down together, then challenges Leo to survive her final attack, but he calmly releases condensed green willpower, flooding the entire battlefield with its pressure, and freezing every summoned creature where it stands, leaving Miki amazed that the horde stopped moving, before she notices something changed in Himajin, as multiple corrupted eyes spread across Leo's face, revealing the spiritual corruption risk he knowingly accepted, yet Miki grabs his hand after remembering his help, and sincerely asks whether Leo is alright, before treating him like a bluffing younger brother, though Leo considers himself mentally older than her, while Whisper Flower begs to escape their arrangement, and Leo explains mission and exploration dungeon rules, claiming Luca raised the Black Forest from rank F to C, while hiding that Suzuko actually triggered the transformation, as Whisper Flower struggles uselessly inside Suzuko's grip, and Leo explains level C bosses always drop an item, which could restore exactly what Miki now needs, so she confidently takes responsibility for the finish, asking Suzuko to release the weakened boss for execution, before delivering a decisive blade strike through Whisper Flower, as the system misidentifies non-player Hayashi Miki as Victor, then corrects the clear credit to Amaike Leo, while Suzuko proudly reports defeating the enemy, and Miki requests that Himajin conceal her identity, prompting Leo to hide his own player information too, and publicly register himself only as a keeper, before collecting rewards and granting Miki's recovery wish, though she nervously questions what Leo intends as he retrieves Whisper Flower's sprite-type monster core, and confirms the core must be swallowed, leaving Miki certain that he must be joking, until her deteriorating body suddenly coughs blood, while Suzuko asks to eat the apparently dying woman, and numb Miki fears her life is ending, but Leo promises he can still save her, then crushes the glowing monster core in hand and presses its energy toward Miki's mouth, forcing the desperate jurist to swallow as surrounding elemental power gathers into Miki's body, proving why rare gold cores exceed 2 million in value, since removing a boss's will leaves pure elemental energy, once valuable enough to ignite brutal conflicts, though Miki now seems controlled by the energy instead, as a violent green aura erupts around her, making Suzuko blame the woman for hurting Daddy before asking permission to eat Miki immediately. But Leo reminds her that eating people is forbidden, while worrying his altered aura could provoke Suzuko too, then asks his daughter for protection if danger returns. As Leo searches for a way to wake Miki, refusing to send Suzuko near the unstable jurist because his own power cannot reach from safety, while Miki's body rapidly approaches its limit, leaving Leo dependent on Suzuko despite the side effects. So he asks his giant daughter for assistance and orders Suzuko to throw him toward Miki, which the eager monster accepts without concern, though Leo desperately emphasizes doing it slowly, before Suzuko launches Daddy through the air, sending Leo flying far faster than requested, until he crashes directly into Miki's elemental cocoon, and a huge impact scatters the gathered power, while Leo searches through smoke for unconscious Miki, then grabs her shoulders and demands she awaken, desperately urging the fading jurist to hurry, until Miki finally wakes beneath his relieved smile, narrowly avoiding transformation into a genuine plant person, while Leo hides his corrupted face from her, though Miki notices spiritual corruption spreading across his hand, making Suzuko threaten the woman near Daddy. But Leo calls Miki a friend and accepts his chosen path, before returning her recovered jurist job card, which Miki can use again after keeping his secret, as Leo prepares to leave with Suzuko, until Miki requests Himajin's real name, realizing his aliases and secrecy protect Suzuko, and questioning whether her corrupted savior remains human, while Leo admits he also wants that answer, before asking Miki whether she thinks he is human, though Suzuko immediately answers that Daddy is Daddy, as Leo finally reveals his true name, Amaike Leo, and Miki quietly commits that name to memory, while the rank C Black Forest clear completes in 24 hours, spreading shocking system notifications among nearby players, who celebrate the impossible dungeon victory. Before Keeper appears first on the new clearer rankings as 10 hours pass after the Black Forest clear, and Apparition Association monsters reach a subway garage too late, discovering Whisper Flower's discarded corpse inside the ruins, while Two-Head examines its remarkably clean fatal cut, and recoils from the horrifying death scene, before Bone Ren confirms the corpse remains warm, with its core missing and vital point precisely pierced, leaving the association mourning one of its brethren, until leader Philemina silences them and studies the killer, then asks Chell to reconstruct Whisper Flower's final images, which the loyal eye monster eagerly agrees to do, before projecting scarlet energy across the devastated garage, revealing corrupted Leo standing amid captured monsters, as his remembered presence overwhelms even the Watchers, while Leo's image challenges their supposed god of monsters, enraging Two-Head with the human's fearless mockery, before the monster realizes a human child killed Whisper Flower, and swears vengeance for insulting their great one, until Suzuko's image asks who hurt her daddy, making Philomena recognize the first-generation Queen of Destruction, and conclude Leo somehow keeps their legendary queen, placing him above monsters considered practically divine, so Philomena believes they finally found their sought leader, though her wild excitement startles her subordinates, before she orders contact with the Great One's possible incarnation, assigning human-like Doll to approach and assess Leo's motives, which Doll accepts as an honor without hesitation, while respectfully addressing Philomena as her elder, later at the Getsuran City Job Holder Cooperative. Players debate whether Keeper was a beta tester, since even testers should struggle with a mutated dungeon, while training Miki finds Keeper's anonymous ID suspicious, until a cooperative employee approaches Hayashi Miki directly, introducing herself as Jenna and requesting a conversation, specifically about survivors from the Black Forest, before asking Miki for information regarding player Keeper, while Miki remembers Leo entrusted Suzuko's secret to her. As Leo rests inside an abandoned hotel and checks status, finding himself level 5 while Dreadkeeper remains rank F, though he receives the rank C unique Mimic Crystal, an unusually powerful reward from the mutated dungeon, which transforms according to Leo's instilled force of will. But Leo postpones testing it to solve another problem, the impure eye containing Suzuko's stolen memories, prompting him to call his daughter closer and promise Suzuko a long-awaited present, before raising the sinister eye toward her face and restoring the missing piece to complete Suzuko, as both monster eyes ignite with scarlet power, making Suzuko recoil from the strange sensation, while Leo senses her presence growing dramatically stronger, then realizes the restored father memories depict someone else, making him fear Suzuko might stop recognizing Leo as Daddy, as the transformed monster silently towers above him. But Suzuko embraces Leo and declares her love, leaving flattened Daddy begging to be released, before he checks how her restored eye changed her status, discovering Suzuko promoted into a rank of corrupted zombie, when corrupted energy suddenly erupts from Leo's arm, revealing another dangerous side effect of his power, as Leo realizes the absorbed willpower escaped control, and a violent surge throws him backward, prompting Suzuko to rush toward her injured daddy, while Leo struggles to remain conscious beside her, until he collapses and Suzuko assumes he is sleeping, though she notices his corrupted arm remains badly hurt, and apologizes for failing to protect Daddy, before tenderly wishing that he recovers soon, as old memories show Suzuko questioning her creator, and innocently asking what a utopia means, while Daddy describes a hopeful home where everyone thrives, leaving present Suzuko guarding Leo through the night, while the restored memories tell unconscious Leo to remember, that Daddy remains Daddy and Suzuko remains herself, before Leo awakens alive on the following day, realizing spiritual corruption pain made him pass out, as hallucinations surround him with countless laughing Suzukos, leaving Leo terrified by the worsening corruption, until the real Suzuko innocently approaches Daddy. While Leo recognizes increasingly vivid false visions, and knows he must regain control quickly, so he concentrates on suppressing the stolen willpower, using his detection training to stabilize the corruption, before Suzuko interrupts with another call for Daddy, and bluntly announces that she is hungry, prompting Leo to search for leftover monsters, while wondering why Suzuko regained her cloud-like form, and suspects her restored memories caused the reversion, until she reveals numerous Black Forest monster crystals, admitting she already ate the bodies that contained them, which efficiently converted every monster's remains into valuables. So Leo trades the crystals for better food, heading into Getsuren City as the cooperative opens early, though Leo avoids official channels and chooses the black market, already thriving only 1 week after Dungeons appeared, where he recognizes future engineer Tokura Kuro, despite Kuro not yet controlling Getsuren City's underworld, as the merchant suspiciously studies Leo's hidden face, then rejects goods he assumes were stolen, until Leo challenges him to inspect them first, and reveals a high-purity monster crystal, though Kuro initially calls it untradeable unknown merchandise, before using his engineer job to examine it, and discovering a valuable Black Forest King crystal, while Leo credits his own technique and threatens another buyer, prompting Tokura Kuro to purchase every crystal immediately, for 10 times their official exchange value, giving Leo enough money to feed Suzuko temporarily, while he remembers Kuro once struggled desperately for money. Until Suzuko warns Daddy that people are following them, making Leo suspect Kuro sold him out instantly, as word of the mysterious seller reaches the black market boss, who hopes Leo can reveal the speed player's identity, then orders his agents to keep monitoring the boy, while Suzuko notices men closing in behind Daddy and asks permission to eat Leo's pursuers, as the gang orders everyone to seize him, forcing Leo and Suzuko into a crowded chase. Though Suzuko treats the escape like a game, while Daddy demands that she move much faster until the endless pursuit drives them toward rooftops, and Suzuko happily accepts Leo's climbing plan, before carrying Daddy straight up the building, leaving the gang convinced he must be a job holder, while Leo realizes these ordinary men are not Kuro's lackeys, and scatters crystals to distract the greedy pursuers, but the enraged gang refuses to abandon their target, so Leo signals Suzuko to end the confrontation, as her massive force catches the charging men and sweeps the entire group violently aside, leaving Leo baffled by such aggression over crystals, until another group politely approaches from ahead, identifying themselves as the Black Owl Company. While Leo prepares to finish this interruption quickly, elsewhere Doll searches the crowded Getsuren Plaza before addressing Tamil strangers with unnatural confidence, and asking whether everyone considers themselves her friends, as purple threads spread through the unsuspecting crowd while Doll asks whether anyone saw her friend, then projects Leo's corrupted form above her hand, turning hypnotized strangers into devoted searching companions, before sending them throughout the city to find him, as Miki races toward a job holder muster, and Doll's strange eyes suddenly notice the jurist, while Miki urges the gathering crowd to move, despite onlookers complaining about her impatience, until she senses someone's gaze fixed upon her, and spots Doll watching through the purple threads, briefly finding the elegant stranger remarkably beautiful, before attempting a friendly greeting as Doll approaches, only for Doll's hypnotic eye to flare, and Miki to vanish from her sight completely, though the confused jurist simply continues toward headquarters, while Doll senses Leo's will and Black Forest scent on her. Then follows Miki with a crowd of hypnotized friends. Elsewhere, Leo claims he sells only ordinary sundries and offers to reveal his supposed merchandise source, but Black Owl enforcers attack before he finishes, forcing Leo to narrowly dodge a brutal kick, until another thug pins him against the ground, while Leo unsuccessfully demands they negotiate instead, and offers directions to his imaginary supplier, though the amused gang finds his resistance entertaining, before their leader permits them to beat Leo senseless, sending more empowered fighters toward the trapped boy as a heavy strike knocks Leo across the street, until their leader asks about Black Forest's speed player, making Leo notice wind gathering around his attackers, from a speed player title granting 30% acceleration, while Leo questions why his clear bonus matters and learns Black Owl seeks player keeper's location before their leader threatens Leo for an answer, as the sequence briefly pauses between escalating attacks. Then Black Owl orders the cornered boy to hurry, promising survival only if Leo reveals Keeper, while admitting they want his dungeon-clearing secrets. And Leo pretends weakness to gather more information, leaving the leader confident his spiritual attack succeeded, until enraged Suzuko demands they stop hurting Daddy, while Black Owl keeps pressing Leo for answers, and Leo finally commands the assault to stop, releasing green willpower that lifts him upright, stunning everyone as Suzuko watches Daddy recover, though the leader mocks Leo's sudden display of strength before his men notice something wrong with Leo's face, while Daddy assures worried Suzuko he remains fine, and apologizes for nearly exposing her existence as Black Owl's leader removes every restraint, amplifying his fighters with surging wind magic, before ordering them to tear Leo apart, sending the strengthened gang charging all at once, while Leo identifies their troublesome wind-based speed boost, as Suzuko's starvation reaches 20% behind Daddy, making Leo prioritize finding food for her immediately, despite one empowered fighter moving with blinding speed, and driving Leo backward beneath a rapid barrage, until the battered keeper decides he has seen enough. Then gathers willpower to simplify the fight, unleashing a spiritual attack across every charging thug, which paralyzes their bodies under crushing mental pressure, though the exertion worsens Leo's corruption side effects, before he demands a monster item from their leader, who still insists the gang is not lost, and activates another spell circle around himself, impressing Leo with his refusal to surrender, until Daddy asks hungry Suzuko for help, and she eagerly strikes the resource-rich leader, who keeps taunting Leo even while attacking, before Suzuko crushes him and earns Daddy's thanks, as Leo calmly resumes demanding their monster items, threatening mutual destruction if they possess nothing, until a terrified thug offers every item they own, letting Leo feed Suzuko an expensive rot-eater's arm, while the defeated gang surrenders its remaining inventory, fearing Leo could make them disappear like the item, before revealing a 6 million bounty for speed player information, officially guaranteed by the job holder cooperative. Though Black Owl's leader fears drawing suspicion from his company, prompting Leo to ask why Keeper inspires such hatred, because that player's reward caused the leader's transformation, which Leo secretly recognizes as another dangerous clear bonus, until every job holder receives an emergency muster call, making both enemies pause their tense negotiation as the system announces urgent trouble within Getsuren City, and curious Leo decides to investigate the assembly, while daring Black Owl's leader to object, though the gang enthusiastically agrees to accompany him, before a gigantic blue dungeon rift splits the sky, prompting Getsuren City Mayor Fujinami Satoru to consider evacuation. Despite officials saying the dungeon has not opened yet, as powerful players gather beneath the unstable fissure, while Leo suspects an incomplete or enormous dungeon, until Suzuko quietly calls Daddy from behind, announcing that she smells members of her family, which immediately alarms Leo after Whisperflower's betrayal, though Suzuko confirms the scent definitely belongs to family, making Leo investigate both the assembly and her relatives, as Black Owl's leader reports the rift differs from intelligence, lacking the expected pressure of a world-ending dungeon, while Leo questions why confidential information reaches Himajin, and receives it as an apology for earlier disrespect. Before recalling Wonderland in the original Black Forest outbreak, alongside Getsuren City's Rank B Strange Paradise dungeon, while the knowledgeable Black Owl leader introduces himself as Akutsu, then points out famous job holders backed by his company, including Rank B Dragon Handler Rua from Jenna Command, who greets the gathering with effortless confidence, as Akutsu boasts that Black Owl invested in her, while Leo recognizes Rua as a future Rank S star, before Akutsu warmly invites Himajin to seek their investment, which Leo might accept if Suzuko needs support, until an unfamiliar hand suddenly lands on his shoulder, as another job holder calls Leo a little boy, introducing Rank B Perceptor Anai Gen of Jenna Command, who shamelessly invites Leo to serve as a chair, before Akutsu demands the captain stop recruiting Himajin, while Leo recognizes Anai's future nickname Fallen Emissary, and the Perceptor fantasizes about serving beneath Rua, prompting embarrassed Captain Rua to drag him back, as she furiously questions what Anai thinks of her, then sighs beneath the burden of his behavior before threatening him for one more perverted remark, though Anai enthusiastically begs for more punishment, leaving Rua apologetic and Akutsu impressed by her patience, while she questions Anai's interest in the newcomer, and he senses extraordinary potential hidden inside Leo, causing Suzuko's protective presence to blaze scarlet behind Daddy as Rua dismisses the seemingly ordinary child, while Akutsu warns Himajin to avoid the dangerous Perceptor, until Suzuko suddenly calls Daddy with excitement, announcing that she finally located the family scent, and Leo confirms she means them, not Anai, as he rules out the Perceptor and searches elsewhere, until Leo remembers someone familiar nearby, and identifies Hayashi Miki among the gathered crowd, while Miki quietly avoids anyone knowing her provisional status, as Suzuko points Daddy toward the hidden scent, revealing Doll watching behind her hypnotic threads, though only Suzuko can make Leo notice the monster, while Daddy sees nothing where she points, and Doll privately celebrates finding her target, before Leo follows Akutsu toward the dungeon briefing, asking what only the cooperative knows about its advent, as Mayor Fujinami announces an incomplete Rank C dungeon, dangerous enough to threaten the entire city if completed, but offering rewards and free withdrawal as exploration type, making Leo dismiss the Rank C mission as easy, while officials challenge job holders to enter or retreat, and salute the courageous players who remain, before the mayor awaits their final response, as everyone enters the Rank C fairytale kingdom, and Akutsu orders vigilance against suspicious movement, while Leo empowers his eyes and surveys the surroundings, though Suzuko's tense reaction signals unseen danger before a flaming projectile tears through the forest, and explodes against the shocked exploration team, confirming they have already fallen under attack, as Akutsu orders combat mode and prepares retaliation, while another burning shot races directly toward Leo, catching the Black Owl leader completely off guard, until Leo blocks it with condensed green willpower, earning Akutsu's startled gratitude for the rescue, before Leo identifies an enemy beyond ordinary methods as more invisible strikes descend upon the group, revealing a Rank D homecoming hunter stalking them, which exceeds the manageable threat Leo expected, while the masked hunter delights in lively prey, then declares that its hunt has begun, spreading massive webbing around every trapped player. As Leo resolves to fight without relying on Suzuko, though his daughter suddenly regains her senses and asks to eat, before scarlet projectiles surround them from every direction. As delighted Suzuko catches every spinning projectile midair, leaving Akutsu stunned by her power to erase monsters, while the team debates continuing deeper through the forest. Though Leo considers Suzuko's unstable condition too dangerous, and suggests rendezvousing with teams who know the route, as Black Owl agents discuss protecting Himajin carefully. Hoping to exploit this chance and build a relationship until their hidden boss orders Akutsu watched closely, because Himajin only temporarily complements their secret operation, while an agent asks whether eliminating Leo remains possible, but learns someone powerful must be backing the knowledgeable boy, as failure would make that agent disposable too. Meanwhile, the dungeon fisher suddenly becomes active outside, prompting Mayor Fujinami to request a calm status report, with 6 10-person teams currently attempting the clear, and some casualties but no complete team losses, until Hayashi Miki arrives seeking the concerned mayor. Then demands permission to enter the dungeon, though Fujinami orders his valuable fighter to remain outside. While Miki silently worries that Amaike Leo entered, then claims Luca may have infiltrated as a fake player, convincing Fujinami to prepare an emergency team for her. Inside, Anai asks whether Rua detected anything, but she complains that overusing detection exhausted her back, before stepping on the captain who requested that position, then forcing herself to activate detection once more, as spiritual ripples spread through the surrounding forest, and Rua follows with a devastating spiritual attack, shredding hidden pests caught within its expanding range before a powerful shockwave tears across the battlefield, leaving the homecoming hunter confused by her sudden power. While Anai checks exhausted Rua after the attack, and she admits rushing caused excessive energy use, because Suzuko's crafted dolls reminded her of missing sisters, while Suzuko offers them to Rua as daddy taught, making Rua imagine Anai surrounded by captured women, and claiming every beautiful sister for himself until the furious dragon handler loses patience, drawing her blade with murderous determination before ordering the team forward at full power. While Anai protests that Rua is their actual leader, then a blazing purple gateway opens deep inside the forest, and Doll emerges through its swirling spectral energy, announcing her return despite paying a considerable price, with her torn clothing revealing the battle's severity, though she fears her new companions were already slaughtered. So Doll immediately gathers her remaining spiritual power, binding the fallen players with glowing purple threads, as she confirms that none of them died yet, then orders everyone up to search for their friends, until an approaching threat suddenly catches her attention, and Doll greets the surprise attack as a coincidence. Elsewhere, another squad realizes these enemies are exceptionally powerful, while the homecoming hunter begins another delightful hunt, and a level hunter captain asks which lamb comes next, before selecting one helpless player as its prey, then blasting the target apart with delighted laughter, as the hunter captain casually searches for another victim, leaving Leo and the surviving players visibly shaken. Though Leo stays calm after enduring Suzuko's overwhelming presence, while carrying Suzuko and begging her to awaken soon, until the hunter captain approaches their unfortunate group, and a violent impact suddenly shakes the battlefield, revealing its level, conjoined stillborn ghost companion, whose eerie faces immediately focus upon the survivors, as Leo tells Akutsu to keep targeting the hunter captain, while their enemy invites its unintelligent companion to feast, then eagerly unleashes the ravenous creature upon them, as its enormous mouth exposes countless writhing tendrils, forcing Leo to order Akutsu toward the opening, though the suction prevents Akutsu from using spiritual power, leaving Leo no choice except his mimic crystal trump card, which transforms into bow form within his hands, before Leo fires a brilliant green energy arrow, striking the conjoined stillborn ghost with crushing force, as the resulting wind pressure overwhelms nearby Akutsu, until Doll arrives carrying another survivor through purple mist, leaving Leo completely bewildered by this unfamiliar woman, while the hunter captain rages over its injured companion, and Leo realizes Doll's rescued players remain alive, as the hunter captain condemns Doll as a doomed interloper, but Doll asks permission to eliminate these irritating enemies, promising her Great One that she will do anything, while Leo suspects she must somehow know Suzuko, then realizes Doll's power could defeat the pursuing hunters, so he asks her to handle them for him, and Doll introduces herself from the Apparition Association, before casually snapping her fingers with a smile, causing purple energy to reanimate the fallen players. As the revived soldiers reclaim their abandoned weapons, and Lieutenant Sugai of the Firing Hammer Forward Squadron reports, while Doll delightedly welcomes every revived warrior as friends, then orders her new companions to eliminate those enemies, as the furious hunter captain commands its forces to retreat side, sending Doll's revived soldiers charging into their opponents, before one fighter tears violently through a hunter. Meanwhile, the dungeon fisher dominates central Getsuran City, where Fujinami hopes Miki can reverse the crisis inside, until an aide rushes over carrying grave news, reporting every player registered dead has revived simultaneously, leaving Mayor Fujinami completely stunned by the impossible report, while the revived soldiers insist they are all friends, and even the hunter captain repeats Doll's haunting command. as Doll warmly welcomes the approaching group of new friends, though Leo nervously asks whether these players are truly alive, and Doll confirms it, seeming even more dangerous than Suzuko, while Akutsu praises Himajin for supposedly manipulating corpses, despite Leo immediately denying that the power belongs to him, until he realizes nobody else can actually see Doll, who innocently asks her Great One whether he needs anything, prompting Leo to question her invisibility and his companions, though Doll denies interference and offers to reveal herself, before Leo hurriedly refuses her unsettling friendship proposal, then asks what Doll truly wants from following, but she replies that she already possesses it, leaning close as she declares Leo's friendship her prize, and insists that friendship matters more than anything. While Leo understands she considers him another controllable puppet, then hopes Suzuko can somehow handle this dangerous woman, just as the well-fed Suzuko finally wakes upon his back, and instantly notices the unseen Doll standing nearby, allowing both strange women to exchange cheerful greetings, though Suzuko denies remembering Doll from any previous meeting, while Leo recalls Doll waving from the plaza earlier, realizing he can see her now unlike before considering Suzuko's unstable condition and the distant fortress, as he worries the cooperative survivors could be annihilated since 4 exceptionally powerful knights supposedly guard Fairy Tale Castle, so Leo decides to exploit Doll's strength for the clear, then asks his new friend to guide them onward, and Doll accepts the request with eager pleasure, while her army of revived friends joins their advance, leading Leo to march everyone toward the towering castle as they finally approach its illuminated entrance after nightfall, where enormous piles of golden coins fill the interior, and monsters gamble together inside the Fairy Tale Castle casino, until the dealer excitedly announces a group of new faces, revealing a level C Wolfman beside level C Red Riding Hood, who explains the first blonde sucker already entered the castle, while another team fell and a third disappeared mysteriously, leaving 5 fresh suckers available for the casino's entertainment, as Red Riding Hood opens bets on Leo reaching them and promises the winning monster control of one human team, while the greatest winner receives the prized human brain. Meanwhile, Leo's group successfully enters Fairy Tale Castle, and he identifies the casino as their ultimate destination, before exhausted Suzuko announces she must become smaller, surprising Leo with another ability he never knew, as Suzuko compresses into her tiny spectral form, while Leo discovers her power is restricted inside the castle, and the other players cannot sense their spiritual energy, though Leo finds his own power merely weakened here, until the system warns that uninvited guests receive restrictions, prompting Leo to check whether Doll feels the same effect. But Doll responds without understanding his concern, confirming she remains unrestricted like a boss monster or higher, while her corpse manipulation and strange travel technique deepen the mystery, before Akutsu suddenly hears something approaching through the castle and warns everyone about danger rushing from above, as a red-eyed flying attacker launches an explosive barrage, revealing a level C+ Centaur Knight hunting castle intruders, while Akutsu recoils from the unexpected armored guardian, and the Centaur Knight begins its extermination sequence, striking the players with a massive electrical blast which hurls Leo violently across the castle floor, though he refuses Suzuko's suggestion to flee just yet, while casino monsters demand the knight kill everyone immediately. Eager spectators gather to witness the approaching bloodshed, as Doll asks her Great One for fresh orders, and Leo politely requests another favor from his friend, prompting Doll to unleash her purple power with pleasure, while the Wolfman suddenly recognizes the terrifying woman, identifying her as Her Highness Monster Queen Doll, before Doll commands her puppet army to help everyone, sending the revived players swarming around the Centaur Knight, as countless violent strikes hammer for its armored body, while Doll happily praises loved ones who fight passionately, and her purple threads burrow through the knight's armor, forcing the roaring guardian beneath her complete control, as Doll invites her newest puppet into their friendship, though the knight reveals it recognized Her Highness immediately, before violently breaking away from her controlling threads, leaving even Doll surprised by its sudden resistance, as she wonders whether her power accidentally broke him, while Leo safely emerges and offers Doll cheerful thanks, then praises her passion for surprising the hostile monster, as the casino audience watches everything through its magical orb, and angrily condemns the Centaur Knight as useless, until another disturbance abruptly shakes their gambling table, prompting the Wolfman to explain why Doll helped outsiders, claiming her strange hobby involves turning humans into toys, while the others remember that Doll remains utterly terrifying, then eagerly anticipate watching her transform the intruders, as Leo privately exploits Doll to clear the dungeon easily, unaware her ominous purple energy is rapidly intensifying, while Doll nostalgically remembers the Great One's familiar smile, and demands to witness even more of that happiness, causing her compressed aura to erupt throughout the chamber, as Leo realizes Doll suddenly started behaving strangely, while casino monsters order the Centaur Knight to kill her, but Doll floats above them with an overwhelming purple power, then extends spectral tendrils directly towards startled Leo, as Suzuko senses danger closing around her daddy, before Doll seizes Leo and claims he finally remembered, pressing his face while insisting he recognize her, as his self-proclaimed #1 friend demands an answer, leaving the casino spectators shocked by her strange behavior, while they accuse the Wolfman of deceiving everyone, until Red Riding Hood sees their target vanishing on-screen, and Akutsu helplessly watches Himajin disappear beside him, as Doll calls the forgetful Great One unbearably cruel, then begins a transfer ability meant to restore his memory, though Suzuko desperately orders Doll to release her daddy, before lunging forward and striking at the Monster Queen. But Doll keeps Leo restrained and proceeds while laughing, causing him to disappear completely into the purple energy, as stunned Suzuko feels her daddy vanish from reach, while armored reinforcements crash into the castle nearby, revealing an advancing squad of level C+ shining knights, which the casino monsters welcome as perfectly timed hunters, while Akutsu finds the corpses frozen after Himajin's disappearance, then orders everyone to intercept before rushing toward the fortress, until Suzuko erupts within a terrifying crimson aura, forcing the system to detect an irregularity and upgrade, as Suzuko follows the lingering trace of Daddy's scent, then charges through the knights to find him, scattering the armored guardians with her explosive advance, while dismissing their resistance as utterly disgusting. And Akutsu senses something strangely familiar within her power, before urging his allies to clear the route quickly, as casino monsters identify Suzuko as the Queen of Disintegration, unable to understand where this boss monster originated, while another observer suspects the vanished sucker brought her. Elsewhere, Doll transports Leo into a distant castle chamber, keeping him trapped beneath her curling purple threads, as she promises to help Leo remember everything, and commands him to recall his forgotten past, though Leo suspects she has mistaken him for someone else, until Doll says he appeared with Suzuko and surpassed the monster god, making Leo suspect her connection to Suzuko's mysterious father. But he decides to continue impersonating that legendary figure, as Doll presents a puppet body that seems strangely familiar, calling it his first creation and her true body, before demanding the name only her creator should know. And Doll eagerly waits for Leo to answer, insisting her real name could never be forgotten, because they were supposedly the closest friends of all, while Leo realizes his life depends upon the answer but finally admits that he cannot say it, knowing no convincing name could be safely invented, as Doll's expression darkens and she asks why, then lashes out after assuming he intends to deceive her. Though Leo welcomes death over reliving a fabricated past, prompting Doll to question his meaning through swirling power, as her hand approaches Leo with deadly intent, until he asks how much she remembers about herself, and Doll suddenly discovers enormous gaps within her memories, letting Leo blame an interfering monster for stealing them. While Doll immediately suspects the mysterious monster god exactly as Leo planned by exploiting her existing memory loss, leaving both of them manipulating each other for answers, though Doll claims the monster god stole her memories too, and Leo realizes their mysterious enemy affected her as well, before a tremendous impact suddenly shatters the chamber, causing both Leo and Doll to turn in surprise, as furious Suzuko finally crashes into their confrontation, while Doll's insanity activates her unknown rank boss condition, forcing Leo to fight as his speed player title activates, and he unleashes a sweeping green spiritual attack, though Doll reaches through the energy to seize him, until Suzuko calls desperately toward her endangered daddy, then blasts Doll away with explosive crimson force, as Doll calls Suzuko white and demands recognition, but Suzuko rejects her lie, claiming white is present, while Doll insists Suzuko only accepts her real body, then invites the naughty child into a deadly game, as Leo realizes Suzuko used her mask to power up and identifies her as another fairy tale kingdom boss, while Suzuko reveals she brought many of Daddy's friends, leaving Leo alarmed by the figures gathering behind him, while Akutsu rushes over and checks whether Himajin survived, as Doll quietly smiles at their unexpected reunion, then begins spinning within dense purple threads, generating a vortex that violently hurls everyone away, forcing Leo to evade another sweeping attack immediately, before desperately blocking Doll's next strike with his blade, though she only asks whether he remembers anything yet, then launches another crushing blow across the chamber, as Suzuko briefly believes Doll has finally disappeared. But Leo warns that the Monster Queen remains present, then demands Doll surrender against their combined strength, though she refuses separation from her beloved Great One, and turns her attention toward Leo's other friends, whose bodies suddenly begin transforming beneath purple energy, until every affected player becomes another Doll clone, leaving Leo horrified by this outrageous cloning skill, as multiple dolls rush forward through the chamber, eager to continue their increasingly dangerous game, before crimson pain suddenly tears through Suzuko, while the system warns of another dungeon irregularity, as an increasing number of rifts appear outside the castle, prompting surviving players to demand an immediate dungeon clear, since the irregular advent is accelerating beneath Doll's power, while another fissure erupts with violent blue lightning, and a strange new rift opens elsewhere in Getsuren City, hurling nearby civilians helplessly through the air, as an abandoned firearm falls amid crackling energy, before a masked rifleman emerges seeking fresh prey, and ominously calls this hunt the kid's favorite, while terrified civilians recognize the newcomer as a monster, then flee as its promised hunting time begins, and multiple explosions tear through the surrounding streets. Back inside, casino monsters continue searching for Suzuko, until a violent impact sends another body crashing nearby, leaving the Wolfman demanding the intruder's identity, as a confident red-haired woman politely greets everyone, then asks whether any other job holders arrive first, while privately searching for an infuriating missing brat, though the Wolfman condemns this arrogant human trespasser, and she laughs at being dismissed as merely human, before Rua demonstrates how terrifying a human can become, shredding the surrounding monsters with sweeping crimson attacks, then carving through another opponent without slowing down, as a vertical strike devastates the casino floor, prompting the monsters to recognize Rua as a VIP. while she calmly settles into their frightened hospitality and explains she lost her companions during the dungeon clear. Before asking about their magical human observation device, Azanai joins her beside the glowing orb, and Rua requests a search for a purple-haired teenage brat, while the Wolfman orders Red Riding Hood to comply, though Anai distracts her by affectionately patting her head, until the orb locates Leo inside the castle, and Rua confirms they have also been seeking him, already planning to recruit Leo after escaping this place, before the Wolfman hears a disturbing sound nearby. As distant crimson spiritual power floods through the casino, and Rua recognizes the energy she sensed beside Leo earlier, then abruptly races away despite Anai's confused question, promising to return after confirming her suspicion as Rua accelerates through the castle at tremendous speed, then summons the power of her shadow dragon, commanding the spectral beast to possess her body, before erupting through the castle within blazing energy. Meanwhile, a doll clone hurls Leo backward again as he discovers even more copies surrounding him, while their overlapping laughter echoes throughout the chamber, and Leo's spiritual corruption begins activating once more. Just as Suzuko urgently calls toward her daddy, prompting Leo to activate synchronization for a random ability, which grants Eye of Truth for 20 minutes, before Leo launches forward with a furious blitzkrieg, as a doll clone promises to help her beloved friend, though Eye of Truth lets Leo see through every deception, making each incoming movement completely clear to him, as the true bodies shine unmistakably within his vision, while Ghost Transformation empowers him for 20 minutes, and every defeated clone changes back into a player, convincing Leo to eliminate all the remaining copies, until Doll suddenly recognizes Suzuko's familiar spiritual power, then marvels that Leo can wield other people's abilities, praising this amazing power from her dearest friend, while Leo prepares to evade her spiritual beams, then gathers green energy for a decisive counterattack, transforming his weapon into bow form once again, as Doll laughs and calls his resistance wonderfully nimble, before Leo's spiraling arrow collides with her defenses, producing a towering vortex of concentrated green power, which expands into a massive sphere around the battlefield. As Leo prepares the next stage of his plan, while Doll decides to use Suzuko against him, and Leo's corrupted eyes detect her sudden movement before Doll slips away toward Suzuko's position, forcing Leo to rely on synchronization once more as Monster Devouring activates under deep spiritual corruption, and Leo's face twists beneath its monstrous influence, while dark tendrils spread outward from his body, granting Spirit Silk Thread for 20 minutes. Followed by Spirit Leap for the same duration, as Doll senses something unexpected activating behind her, before Leo activates the stolen Spirit Silk Thread, and purple cords erupt around Doll's advancing form, while Eye of Truth traces her hidden spiritual connection, finally exposing the location of Doll's true body as Leo immediately activates his new Spirit Leap, leaving Doll astonished that he copied her own power, before his sudden reappearance catches her completely off guard, and Leo delivers a powerful green slash at close range, driving Doll violently down through shattered stone as Leo lands beyond the spreading cloud of debris, while injured Doll struggles upright inside lingering energy until another heavy impact throws her backward again, leaving blood across her face as Leo approaches, and he calmly addresses the fallen monster queen as Doll-chan, before asking her to release him from this battle, though Doll only answers with unsettling laughter. While Leo notices his copied skills will expire soon, then Doll suddenly declares that she has caught him, as her hidden bodies close rapidly from above, and a swarm of laughing clones plunges toward Leo, leaving his corrupted eyes fixed upon the incoming threat, as crimson and purple energy detonates around the chamber, before Leo races across the battlefield toward Suzuko, and finds her unharmed but desperately hungry again. While the casino identifies Suzuko as Nankumini's Queen of Disintegration, leaving Anai shocked that Leo befriended another boss monster, though he senses tremendous hidden potential within the boy, until another familiar figure appears inside the viewing orb, and Anai recognizes Rua despite her sinister aura, questioning whether this monstrous figure remains truly human, while Suzuko senses someone her daddy already knows, and Leo suspects another connection to Suzuko's unknown father, before transformed Rua fixes her attention directly upon him, angrily rejecting Suzuko's claim that Leo is daddy, then demanding what the brat did to cause everything, while Doll quietly points out Leo standing nearby, and warns White not to interfere with her friend, as Doll gathers power and dismisses every objection, declaring that Leo belongs exclusively to her, while the furious transformed woman calls White an idiot, as Leo's monster devouring suddenly upgrades amid the chaos, and he orders Suzuko to leave before things worsen, though she insists that daddy belongs only to her, while casino monsters realize the battle will destroy everything, and the system erupts with repeated dungeon errors, triggering the catastrophic Fairy Tale Kingdom Advent, which engulfs Getsuren City 1 hour after entering the dungeon, as Leo awakens alive beneath the city's shattered ruins, immediately wondering whether Suzuko survived the disaster, before his interface reveals her level a comatose boss condition, until Leo notices an unfamiliar system message waiting nearby announcing the limited-time Getsuren City Blood Hunting event, where players hunt monsters for rankings and a level S item, while unique Calamity-class Shadow of Apprehension offers a secret reward, followed by Calamity-class Doll within the same event, and Calamity-class Queen of Disintegration as the final target, revealing the dungeon specifically wants Suzuko killed again, so Leo suspects a Game Master entity is targeting her. Meanwhile, armored boots step across the ruined battlefield, as several Shining Knights advance dance through the city, forcing Leo to move comatose Suzuko away immediately, before one knight launches a sudden close-range strike, which Leo blocks beneath a burst of green energy. As the relentless clanking finally destroys his patience, and Leo smashes a knight backward with spiritual power, sending armored bodies crashing across the ruined street, though their numbers leave Leo increasingly uneasy, until he notices his spiritual corruption deepening again, as splitting pain tears violently through his head. And the system reveals corruption depth 31, while Leo curses the monster's stubborn persistence, then channels green power along his transformed blade, as several knights charge together from every direction, forcing Leo to twist between their converging attacks, before cutting through one guardian at close range, and vaulting over another knight's armored head, as steel collides violently beneath flashing red eyes, while Leo keeps moving through the surrounding formation, relieved that his reflexes remain sharp despite exhaustion, before using green energy to stop his bleeding, and confirms the treatment successfully closes his wound, only to discover many more knights approaching, as golden projectiles suddenly streak toward him from above, forcing Leo to deflect the blazing barrage with his blade, though another descending bolt catches him completely by surprise, and detonates with enough force to shatter the street, while Leo's spirit barrier barely saves his life, leaving him searching for the hidden attack's origin, until three ominous figures appear atop a nearby building, and one reveals itself as a level C+ Flash Knight, gathering crackling golden lightning within its raised fist before launching countless electrified blades through the air, as a concentrated lightning column crashes directly downward, leaving Leo wide-eyed beneath the incoming assault, before another explosive collision engulfs the battlefield, and a red-eyed knight charges from the smoke, swinging a brilliant lightning blade straight toward Leo, though he meets the attack with his own weapon, until the impact finally blasts him off balance, hurling Leo backward within shattered stone and smoke, though escaping without Suzuko remains completely impossible, while his rank rises and unlocks a mysterious summoning skill, until Leo suddenly notices something amid the rushing attacks, before blocking another Flash Knight at close range, as more armored enemies race across the ruined street, and a sweeping golden attack tears toward him, while another knight closes with electrified weapons ready, proving these enemies also excel in close combat, as a Flash Knight raises its lightning blade overhead, forcing Leo to curse the rapidly worsening situation, before glowing projectiles attach themselves around his body, leaving him desperate to remove them before detonation, until another unexpected change catches Leo's attention, as Corruption Depth 33 turns his hand black, while the altered system behaves unlike anything before, suggesting spiritual corruption may overpower the system itself, forcing Leo to dodge another converging knight attack, before answering with a powerful counterstrike of his own, as corrupted green energy gathers around his extended hand, and collides explosively with the knight's golden power, while Leo's corrupted eyes lock onto his nearest opponent, then draw the monster's energy directly into his body, as his blackened hand consumes the immobilized knight, extinguishing its red glow beneath spreading green corruption, which begins affecting every monster surrounding Leo, leaving him curious about what the corruption will cause, as green energy pulses through another armored guardian, and cracks spread across its brilliant red visor, before the corrupted knight attacks its own allies, smashing multiple guardians apart in a violent collision, while a crimson slash cuts across the remaining formation, earning Leo another rise from level 7 to 8, as he realizes dense corruption easily defeats monsters, then calmly selects his next target among them and challenges the supposedly fearless monsters to approach, though the surrounding knights hesitate before his aura, so Leo decides to carry the fight directly toward them, crashing into the nearest guardian with brutal force before unleashing a rapid chain of close-range strikes, as blade and armor collide beneath flashing red eyes, until another system error appears beside summon ally, while the corrupted knight keeps attacking through green energy, and Leo decides to activate his mysterious summoning skill, as the furious wolfman blames him for ruining everything, though the Advent freed this level monster from dungeon restrictions before it promises to separate Leo's head from his shoulders, and crimson force erupts around the advancing monsters, whilst Leo's summoning skill creates a swirling green sphere, then sets his muster quantity to 2 targets, forming separate green and blue summoning orbs nearby. As the system confirms 3 successful summons, and Leo immediately prepares another experimental command, pressing forward despite another request for confirmation, until the system errors and pulls every orb together, leaving Leo astonished as his summons begin merging, before their combined energy produces something spectacular, shocking the hostile monsters with a towering green eruption, as the Wolfman orders every knight to cooperate, shaming them for cowering before a mere human, until Leo's fused summon charges into their formation, leaving even the Wolfman stunned by its arrival, as the summon draws an enormous green energy sword, revealing the level B+ monster summon fusion knight, which releases a devastating wave across the battlefield, while the Wolfman admits it has never seen such a knight, and Leo gains experience from his powerful summon skill, realizing he can force summons and fuse stronger monsters, as the enemies condemn this extraordinary technique as wicked, though Leo thinks Puppet Master perfectly matches his role, while the Wolfman questions whether this brat remains human. Elsewhere, surviving players gather throughout the ruined city, as the limited-time blood hunting invitation reaches everyone, and eager competitors immediately choose to participate, causing energy surges across the outskirts of Getsuran City, while one fighter crackles with intense blue lightning before the system welcomes every participant to blood hunting and announces that the magnificent slaughter festival has begun as a golden-charged fighter launches his first attack, unleashing a towering beam that obliterates everything ahead, while rank 10 level a battle maniac Mike claims first place, warning weaker competitors to remain outside his path, as nearby players recognize the dangerous level a contender, until an enormous monster swarm pours through the ruins, with countless red-eyed creatures racing toward the gathered hunters, before the masked rifleman opens fire upon them, triggering a chain of brilliant golden explosions. As another powerful competitor descends within holy light, leaving Mike irritated by this troublesome rival's arrival, revealing rank 10 level A+ holy emissary Mika Pess, while Mike glares at the woman challenging him, until a towering monster dismisses them as irritating insects, and Mika answers with multiple devastating bursts of light, earning reluctant praise from the impressed battle maniac, before a newcomer arrives protected by a blue barrier, introducing rank 15 level Master of Ingenuity Ilya, while green corruption continues surrounding Leo elsewhere, as Ilya asks whether the remaining competitors lost courage, and the Wolfman charges furiously toward Leo, claiming nothing matters without the Queen of Disintegration nearby, though Leo calmly invites the monster to attack him, prompting the Wolfman to unleash a deafening roar, before Leo carves green energy across its armored body, then overwhelms the massive creature with corrupted power, while the Wolfman laughs and calls his effort meaningless, though Leo quietly reveals another hidden defense. As the monster discovers corruption spreading through its hand, and learns Leo already drove several knights insane, before green corruption crawls across the Wolfman's face, reducing the terrified monster to desperate pleas for mercy, while Leo condemns the system for pitting players against targets, then grabs the Wolfman and warns the system will kill it, before proposing entirely new rules for their survival, as another defeated body crashes across the ruined street, while the masked rifleman questions human-controlled knights, and Leo orders his summons to eliminate disobedient enemies, earning another rank increase from their obedience as the Wolfman accepts Leo as master and receives instructions, before leading a search for valuable Suzuko, while Red Riding Hood prepares her observation orb to help, and Leo receives a corrupted rare item with spiritual properties, before asking the casino monsters about their remaining tools. Though the Wolfman says everything vanished with the dungeon, while Red Riding Hood continues searching through her orb until the Wolfman presents something recovered from the ruins, revealing a delicate mask once belonging to Lady Doll, which Leo immediately recognizes from their earlier confrontation, as the mask reacts by absorbing his spiritual power, then surrounds Leo with a cocoon of green energy, while he confirms the mysterious effect feels beneficial, and decides to test the accessory further, discovering it suppresses corruption and numbs his wounded hand, before the Wolfman offers to search for other useful objects. So Leo orders everything found and Doll's location discovered, while planning to exploit every advantage available, as his corruption drops to 11 and system stability returns, causing the blood hunting rankings to recover as well, before another violent attack crashes into Leo's territory, prompting the startled Wolfman to call for his knights, while Mike confronts the player cooperating with monsters, and Leo calmly evaluates this newly arrived opponent before announcing that players are forbidden under Rule 2 as corrupted knights gather behind their new master, and Leo declares that his territory needs no players, then politely orders Mike to leave immediately, though the furious battle maniac insults the arrogant brat before summoning a brilliant golden solid barrier. Certain no low-level knight can reach his level of defense, until Leo's enhanced monsters smash through it together, leaving Mike horrified by power surpassing level A as the combined blow launches him across the ruins, and the system awards Leo points for repelling Mike, revealing blood hunting is using everyone to generate scores, before Leo places the Wolfman over his fusion knight, planning to control the entire dungeon within 12 hours, as his corrupted guardians begin their organized operations, and swarms of defeated monsters dissolve beneath them, while Leo reviews every piece of available information, including Suzuko's worsening hunger and his improved personal data, then learns higher levels increase his possible summoned quantity. As Doll's level a warped ornament finally relieves his pain, though its hidden power and secret remain unknown, before Leo asks whether Suzuko has been located, and Red Riding Hood instead finds his missing companions, revealing Rua's cooperative squad alive within the orb, while Leo orders continued devotion to finding Suzuko, as Rua's group prepares its own opposing scheme, trusting a plan to appear captured before infiltrating, then eliminate the monster boss and seize control directly, as the fortified doors open before their arrival, revealing every corrupted knight kneeling to Leo inside, while he adjusts Doll's mask before meeting them, then greets the shocked cooperative squad that afternoon, leaving Rua and her companions stunned by Himajin's authority, as Leo requests a private discussion with her, though his allies demand an explanation for this arrangement, before Leo reveals Rua is secretly searching for Suzuko, claiming a mysterious ability lets him see monster hearts, while Rua dismisses that explanation as irrelevant, until Leo exposes the monster soul beneath her human appearance, then claims his position as Suzuko's father against her, explaining they need him while players hunt both bounty targets, as Rua's monstrous spirit threatens anyone who hurts her sister, though Leo notes its human body may be unable to win. prompting the furious spirit to threaten its true form, before Leo activates Doll's ornament and requests protection, despite Rua warning that she might simply kill him, while remembering how this seeming idiot previously outsmarted her as his plan defices lingering spiritual power and overrides it. Then Leo begins the dangerous activation without hesitation, acquiring the ornament as a stolen item, before his surroundings distort into a strange vision, suggesting Doll's remaining spiritual power influenced his mind. Until Leo finds himself standing inside a hospital room, where a young boy sits beside bedridden Doll, and promises that he will always protect her, leaving Leo confused by both Doll and this unknown child, as the boy trusts his teacher to heal her, while the mysterious figure confidently agrees, calling Ameki Leo an exceptional student before White's surgery, though present Leo rejects being called anyone's student, then destroys the illusion by rejecting Doll's spiritual influence, as Rua praises him for removing every trace instantly, though Leo wonders whether that vision was actually his memory, while Rua notices his exhaustion after overusing spiritual power. Before he confirms Doll was a friend of Suzuko's father, then abruptly grabs Rua while seeking another answer, demanding she reveal Doll's real forgotten name, though Rua recoils and Leo quickly changes his question, asking whether Doll's true name could be White, but Rua tells him to find Doll and ask directly. Elsewhere in Getsuran City, Ilya praises mysterious monsters, admiring their fascinating and seemingly perfect creation, while a dark figure discovers unconscious Suzuko nearby, and warns her that White will buy time, until a brilliant blue attack interrupts the encounter, as Ilya recognizes Level S Hayashi Miki arriving for prey, while the mysterious protector prepares to oppose her, though Miki declares Ilya himself the prey she will shred, as Suzuko awakens and recognizes the approaching scent, remembering Miki only as the dangerous witch, while Ilya confidently invites Miki to attempt shredding him, and the jurist launches a massive blue energy strike, producing a glowing sphere visible across the ruins. As the distant wolfman reacts to the extraordinary power, though Ilya traps Miki inside an ability-nullifying null domain, leaving her furious that he deliberately baited the attack, while Ilya admits he merely wanted to test a new toy, revealing Doll's heart containing her fairy tale kingdom power, which he activates against the high-ranking jurist, successfully controlling rank 10 level S Hayashi Miki, as the transformed puppet demands that Suzuko be released, though Ilya orders puppet number 1 to attack her, prompting Miki to invoke powerful origin magic, followed by the terrifying rebirth of creation, which transforms the jurist into a monstrous puppet, while Doll's restrained body hangs nearby in silence, and transformed Miki advances through writhing green energy, as Ilya celebrates finding 2 special targets together, though the Luckster remains fourth within blood hunting, so he orders Hayashi Miki to finish everyone, as controlled Miki forms twin circles of origin magic, while transformed vines tighten around the captives, though Ilya blocks the incoming attack with null domain, leaving the confident Luckster momentarily surprised, before he realizes the newcomer is pursuing Suzuko, and receives a demand to return her immediately, as green energy collides against Ilya's blue barrier, though he dismisses his attacker as merely level F, while Leo wonders about the strange power surrounding him, then crashes through the battlefield within green corruption, landing safely while carrying controlled Hayashi Miki, as restrained Suzuko recognizes Daddy and cries out, while the mysterious protector calls Suzuko her older sister, and Rua moves to remove the binding vines, until someone reveals that White's heart was stolen, warning that the heartless woman will soon die, though Leo refuses because he still needs important answers. While Ilya mocks the remarkably fast updating level F Brad, and Leo questions how he retained power after the domain, before Ilya activates null domain around them again, expecting every ability to fail upon entering its space. But Leo's corruption tears through the barrier anyway, forcing Ilya to sacrifice his Rod of Authority arm, as the golden artifact crashes uselessly to the ground, while Leo identifies the level S Deft Master Luckster Ilya, famous as Mr. Item for his fortunate arsenal, though the wounded Luckster insists the battle continues and activates a devastating core explosion sequence, threatening to destroy himself and everyone nearby, while the Wolfman urges immediate retreat from the blast. But Leo calmly examines the self-destructing opponent, then uses corruption to abort Ilya's core explosion, demanding an answer after taking control without permission, as green power erupts around the defeated Luckster, before Leo orders Wolfman and Miki to return Suzuko, while confirming he safely recovered White's stolen heart, and Rua refuses to let the heartless woman die, as the glowing crystal is restored within Doll's chest. Before awakened, Suzuko embraces Leo and requests food, though Rua first wants to discuss Suzuko's transformation, instead asking Rua to care for Suzuko temporarily, as the child clings to Daddy at Corruption Depth 50, while Blood Hunting finishes tallying Keeper in first place, and the system officially concludes the limited-time event, congratulating Keeper despite 0 unique monsters defeated, before collecting all accumulated monster data as the damaged dungeon begins restoring itself to normal, and corrupted knights dissolve into blue fragments, while Doll's motionless body remains among the ruins, as Rua considers both White and Suzuko her sisters, wondering how every mysterious woman knows the others. While Leo suspects their connection leads to Suzuko's papa, until opportunistic players arrive congratulating the dungeon clear, then introduce themselves as profiteering fishermen claiming spoils, before a violent crimson attack cuts through their approach, as Suzuko returns Doll's mask to her weakened daddy, while another sudden blast erupts around Rua, and a monstrous figure orders everyone from its path, leaving Rua alarmed for her transformed older sister, as the newcomers realize dangerous monsters still remain, before another crimson strike devastates the area, prompting Suzuko to protect her injured daddy herself, until brilliant golden energy surrounds the raging woman, as a holy caster launches a suppressing attack, while his allies hold position until the saint arrives, and a luminous woman descends into the battlefield, prompting relieved civilians to recognize the saint, whose powerful presence convinces everyone they are saved, though she commands them to forget her involvement entirely, before releasing a mesmerizing wave of golden light, which makes every surrounding witness suddenly drowsy, until the civilians collapse asleep around her, as the saint turns toward her next target, revealing Saint Moran after successfully sealing the monster, while Miko obeys orders to move bystanders somewhere safe, and Moran announces that she finally found Suzuko, before a familiar voice repeatedly calls Leo's name, awakening him on soft grass beneath open sky, as a relieved blonde woman embraces the recovering Leo, leaving him stunned when he recognizes her identity, as the woman introduces herself directly as White, while Leo checks whether she feels feverish or unwell, though White insists she is completely fine, making Leo question how Doll already knew this name, and whether the hospital vision was his own memory, while connections between White, Monster God, and Sensei confuse him, until White urgently calls Leo back from thought, asking whether he truly considers them friends, and Leo immediately confirms their friendship, before noticing that White cannot currently walk, so he offers a piggyback ride without dirtying her clothes. Though Leo struggles beneath White's surprising weight, as she asks whether he would restore her forgotten identity, promising Sensei could help because Sensei can do anything, while Leo asks what kind of person Sensei is, causing an ominous red-eyed silhouette to enter his thoughts, until White's answer collapses beneath corrupted memories, and Leo suspects Monster God altered everyone connected to him, including Leo himself within that widening influence, before reality returns inside a sealed medical facility, where Leo awakens from the disturbing memory-like nightmare, discovering himself locked inside a full cooperative facility, then breaks from containment with corrupted green power, determined to surpass the helpless person he once was, before attacking the guards stationed outside his chamber and blasting one uniformed man violently backward, as Leo recognizes cooperative uniforms on every guard, while pain returns and he searches for an exit, unaware the cooperative is restoring devastated Getsuren City, as staff discuss a saint observing one captured monster, making Rua suspect the unique prisoner could be Suzuko, until alarms report an escape inside the cooperative building. While Leo senses Suzuko through his corrupted connection, though corruption prevents her information panel from appearing, as armed security teams race throughout the facility, and Leo welcomes their distraction from his escape route, before slipping into an unattended elevator, determined to follow his lead or destroy the facility, as green corruption surges through the descending structure, while Leo wonders whether Rua betrayed and captured Suzuko, refusing to allow anyone to harm a single hair as he enters the facility's monster containment zone, but finds neither security teams nor captive monsters, making Leo fear every prisoner was already killed, until Suzuko's familiar spiritual surge disappears as well, leaving him furious at another apparent dead end, before an unbelievable scene appears through the glass, revealing Suzuko relaxing beside Saint Moran inside, while Leo stares in complete disbelief at them, as Moran feeds Suzuko a feast of delicacies, which the delighted child devours without hesitation, until Suzuko spots Leo and calls for daddy, then rushes forward while it embraces him immediately, while armed guards surround their touching reunion, allowing Leo to understand the entire setup was a trap, though he remains focused on protecting Suzuko, as Moran applauds their emotional reunion from nearby, praising Leo for charming a level a monster, while he dismisses her words as empty flattery, and Moran invites him forward for a private request, though Moran declares that Leo has no choice in the matter, as one of 5 saints chosen as humanity's ultimate weapons, guarding against advents while hunting the monster god's location, prompting Leo to ask what Saint Moran truly wants, but she only invites him into a little conversation, then sends Suzuko toward delicious food in another room. Though the child pauses before following her instructions, leaving Leo disturbed that Suzuko obeys Moran so easily as he wonders what the saint is actually pursuing, while Moran promises she has no intention of eating him, until Suzuko finds and replaces Daddy's missing mask, tightening it firmly before completing her small task, then promises to return after eating her fill, as Moran calls Suzuko adorable and questions her transformation, accusing Leo of turning the friendly child into a monster before threatening his life to test Suzuko's loyalty, though Leo coldly orders the saint to back away, and Moran asks what happens if she refuses, prompting Leo to reveal his own corrupted methods, as green corruption begins spreading through Moran's hand. But Moran drops her act and dismisses his threat, then painfully flicks Leo directly on the forehead, while reciting his achievements and calling him Amika Leo, before recognizing how deeply his spirit corruption has progressed, explaining his absorbing item cannot fully restore him, leaving Leo terrified by the saint's extensive knowledge, as Moran accurately recounts his orphaned and criminal childhood, followed by years of exploitation as a dungeon guide, astonishing Leo with the accuracy of her information, until he recalls Moran is rumored to control fate, meaning she likely glimpsed Suzuko's fate and true father. Though Leo still questions why she summoned him, before Moran offers to change his fate under her command, promising a better life and plenty of benefits. But Leo immediately rejects her suspiciously charming proposal, refusing to become the distinguished saint's obedient lackey until Moran tempts him with curing spirit corruption. And Leo considers how to answer her offer, then explains transferring corruption only helps mild cases, since its agony causes madness and eventually death, startling Moran with knowledge she never expected from him, and convincing her to keep Leo close at any cost. Though Leo realizes his confident bluff actually fooled her, then casually attempts to end their meeting and leave, only for radiant holy seals to surround him, as glowing chains suddenly bind his entire body, while Moran demands he join the job holder cooperative, claiming his dangerous condition makes restraint necessary. But Leo counters her holy chains with spirit shock, revealing spiritual power dense enough to astonish Moran, even as Leo admits the resistance hurts terribly. Before summoning real monsters for 3 full hours, making Moran increasingly fascinated by Amiki Leo's abilities, until she calms the confrontation and proposes a deal, which Leo insists should have come from the start, offering 20% of the Black Forest rewards, plus future compensation and dungeon items for Suzuko, benefits Leo needs as Suzuko's appetite rapidly grows, though he recognizes the cooperative wants him monitored and threatens to seek better treatment from foreign organizations, though Moran reminds him he remains inside cooperative territory, prompting Leo to warn the saint against testing him, since even Moran could not stop his escape alone. So she requests conditions and hears about the monster god, revealing Moran is also searching for the monster's deity, and Leo proposes cooperation toward their shared objective, demanding information, independence, and optional dungeon clearing duties, which Moran accepts while insisting he remain monitored, appointing Leo as her pupil to watch him personally, while he welcomes the freedom of legitimate status. Though Moran also demands cooperation with corruption experiments, then sends him toward the required job certification test, as Leo entrusts Suzuko to Moran for now, joking that he might disappear without returning for her, until Moran threatens to have Suzuko hunt and confine him, leaving Leo unsettled as he walks away alone, before Mayor Fujinami urgently arrives to inspect Suzuko, praising Leo as precisely the recruit they need after he allied monsters and stopped reckless job holders, proving he possesses the power to command monsters, meaning Leo could just as easily destroy the city. So Fujinami vows to satisfy any recruitment demand, only to learn Moran already claimed Leo as her pupil, before she orders the mayor to ease his examination, then privately recalls someone who once protected the world, wondering why the monster god became something so different, using and abandoning his own child without remorse, while Suzuko reaches deep inside her monstrous body and forcefully pulls forth a woman's transformed shape, immediately capturing Moran's startled attention as she confirms Leo's mask once belonged to White. Meanwhile, applicants gather for the cooperative's job test, waiting until their assigned numbers are called, with Leo holding number 30 and watching patiently. Relieved, his mask can disguise itself as glasses, while the protean accessory displays its powerful traits, making Leo remember his repeated failures at job tests and the rejection he suffered as a jobless burden. Though now he seeks answers about Doll in his memories, until an aggressive applicant orders Leo aside, revealing the famous level of battle maniac Mike and his entourage, as Mike impatiently complains about the slow examination, then approaches the staff member overseeing applicants, pressuring her to advance his friend's test immediately and invoking his level of reputation when she refuses. While Leo recognizes exactly how famous Mike is, before number 30 is finally called inside, as Mike's friend demands his own waiting number, and Mike moves toward the attendant to obtain it, roughly shoving past Leo without any concern, until Mike notices the smaller applicant behind him, then angrily mocks Leo as a four-eyed brat. Though Leo simply asks who Mike is addressing, prompting Mike to demand his number for himself, before flaring with rage at Leo's calm refusal, and threatening to teach the brat proper manners, as his enormous hand reaches toward Leo's face, while overwhelming golden power engulfs Mike's body, and he commands Leo to fall onto his knees, but Leo catches Mike's wrist without moving, crushing the level of fighter beneath his spiritual power, until Mike suddenly recognizes this terrifying presence, before Leo launches the giant effortlessly through the ceiling, stunning every applicant with a single decisive blow, as Mike's shocked companions stare upward helplessly, then scramble to retrieve their fallen leader, while Leo calmly proceeds into the examination chamber, leaving the attendant amazed by his greater ability, and wondering what power could surpass level A, as Leo enters the cooperative's automated job test, carefully watching the machine and its current applicant, since certification grants recognition beyond dungeon combat, providing acknowledged job holders resources for further growth, while authentic proof prevents profitable ability counterfeiting, and finds extraordinary talent before the fourth calamity, as the machine begins evaluating the previous applicant, releasing a strong wave that makes Leo brace himself, only to declare the long-haired applicant uncertifiable, causing him to accuse the machine of malfunctioning, while guards remove him despite his furious protests, reminding Leo painfully of his own former failures, until number 30 finally enters for evaluation, as Mayor Fujinami observes Leo from the control room, and Jenna confirms Saint Moran approved his background, allowing Fujinami to examine Dreadkeeper's hidden potential, before the vast measuring machine activates around Leo, drawing out clouds of dark corrupted spiritual power, which rapidly shift into an alarming green surge, as the operators detect serious abnormalities in their data, while Leo realizes his spiritual power is leaking outward, and the system reports a unique job holder error, flooding the control room with abnormal spiritual energy, despite ultimately measuring Leo at only level F, so Fujinami demands the complete ability breakdown, finding uncontrollable power in monster command like Hayashi Miki, with abnormal attributes and completely unlimited spiritual power, far beyond an undead sorcerer's dozen summoned monsters, which can only obey basic orders without full control, while summoners and beast tamers require years of growth, and only Hayashi Miki could otherwise control Suzuko, explaining why Moran would claim Leo as her pupil, while Jenna asks whether they should repeat the test. But Fujinami orders Leo officially recorded as level X, the same identifier reserved for unfathomable unique monsters, given his horde's altered appearance and boss companion, making Fujinami question whether Leo is truly human. Meanwhile, Leo tries erasing the corruption left behind, successfully cleaning it with ordinary spiritual power, only to find decontamination crews surrounding him, as they dismiss Ameka Leo and begin cleanup, making the scene resemble murder or viral decontamination, while Leo leaves to await his certification results. Elsewhere, Mike admits to Khan that Leo is extraordinary, and Kayan asks what Mike plans to do, prompting the battle maniac to propose an ambush, since Leo's monster control appears exceptionally rare. Yet he currently has no summoned monsters nearby, giving Mike's group an apparent chance to attack, until Leo suddenly emerges before their plan is finished, and Mike eagerly moves forward to greet him, confronting Leo over the injury he suffered earlier, while Leo calmly asks what compensation Mike expects, and Mike requests one clean retaliatory strike, immediately driving his fist into the floor below. Though Leo evades and merely calls it dangerous, then smirks that Mike completely missed his target, provoking the furious fighter to change his approach, as Mike unleashes the power of level A until staff members desperately order him to stop, reminding everyone that cooperative fighting is prohibited, before enormous green tendrils invade the confrontations, instantly wrapping Mike and dragging him backward, while the same tendrils coil around Leo harmlessly, and he recognizes their familiar spiritual power, as the approaching woman wonders who caused the disturbance, revealing Drasuran City's superstar Hayashi Miki, while Mike accuses Leo of starting everything, only for Miki to recognize him immediately, greeting Ameki Leo as he calls her Miki Ni, which convinces Mike to retreat for now, while Leo admits Moran recruited him against his will, and Kayan declines calling reinforcements against Hayashi Miki, unwilling to challenge Getsuran City's celebrated superstar, as Miki's green tendrils finally release Mike, and he apologizes after her warning against fighting, before Miki grabs Leo and demands a conversation, suddenly remembering the original reason for her visit, which was locating Saint Moran's mysterious student, leaving Leo annoyed that Moran wants him again, while everyone realizes Leo is the promised student, and Jenna publicly confirms his identity to the media, causing eager reporters to surround Leo immediately, bombarding him with questions about Moran and Hayashi Miki. Elsewhere, cleanup begins after the blood-hunting event, as workers search through the devastated city ruins, until they discover a bloodied victim beneath rubble, and one worker notices something valuable on him, identifying the victim's strange pendant as an item, then quickly snatching it from the body, while claiming the treasure is merely a coin, unaware that the coin of fate will revive its owner after 24 hours, as green light restores the dead player's shattered body, leaving the workers stunned when their victim suddenly rises, before the revived man condemns the thieves as foolish NPCs, and decides they all deserve a brutal punishment, activating the level of body separating device, which launches blades of severing magic toward them, instantly detaching their heads and leaving them suspended. While the attacker admires his weapon's gruesome effectiveness, then vows revenge on the level F Leo for wasting his revival coin, as the helpless workers beg him to restore their bodies, until a report reveals Leo has become Saint Moran's student, infuriating the attacker over Leo's sudden public fame, before he finishes the workers and promises Leo retaliation. Meanwhile, the conflict shifts to the Black Owl Company, where Akutsu arrives to deliver his report to the boss, nervously waiting outside the ominously silent office before cautiously entering at his superior's command, and finding CEO Inubashiri Hayato surrounded by fresh victims after overusing his job, as Akutsu reports the unique dungeon's end and Leo's rise as a saint student, prompting Inubashiri to marvel at how far the once unqualified Leo has climbed, while Akutsu adds that Leo also broke their agreement, refusing to surrender even one item from the dungeon, which makes the bloodstained CEO bristle at Leo's audacity, as Akutsu anxiously asks what their next move should be, only for one of Inubashiri's enthralled victims to lunge at him, pinning Akutsu down and raising a knife to strike, while the terrified subordinate narrowly faces the blade, before Inubashiri's crimson power converges on the attacker, shredding the controlled victim beneath a storm of energy. As Inubashiri remarks that Leo's survival has created fresh trouble, then orders Akutsu to bring Leo before him by day's end, determined to handle the rebellious jobholder personally, and threatening to expose Leo's influence over dungeon monsters if he refuses, because proof that unique jobholders can stabilize corruption without killing would ruin even a saint, forcing the badly shaken Akutsu to accept the assignment, while Inubashiri remains alone amid the aftermath of his power, hoping Leo can stabilize his spirit before he must kill the young man instead. Elsewhere, Leo is told to celebrate becoming such a major player, but he realizes Saint Moran's recruitment has trapped him in endless trouble, even imagining how easily his new notoriety could make him disappear, while Jenna climbs onto him and demands a cheerful smile, provoking a jealous Suzuko to denounce her as a witch and order the woman away from her beloved daddy. Though Jenna only laughs over Leo's humiliating interview before Suzuko offers Leo part of her reconstructed body, innocently suggesting he consume it to regain energy, but Leo refuses and tells Suzuko to keep it for herself, making the doll beam with childlike delight. While Leo remembers White once smiling exactly the same way, then shakes off the unsettling memory and checks his rewards, discovering 3 magical boxes awarded for winning Blood Hunter, each capable of yielding a level A to S item or several materials. Though he remembers the wolf kept every treasure it found, including Ilya's valuable staff after Leo defeated him, so Leo asks Suzuko what the wolf did with those spoils, learning it entrusted everything to his red-haired friend, which reveals Rua quietly carried away the entire haul, as Leo identifies her to Jenna as Black Owl's dragon handler Rua, while Suzuko still insists that Jenna deserves to be called a witch. Then Leo asks whether Suzuko recovered anything besides the mask, and she happily reveals that she found the other White, presenting White's real body along with a mysterious doll item, which immediately catches both Leo and Jenna by surprise, as Jenna asks where Suzuko discovered the tiny doll, and Leo concludes White deliberately left it behind as a clue, until Jenna receives word that someone has come for Leo, and warns him that an unexpected visitor is waiting, as Akutsu appears remotely and summons Leo to Black Owl over their deal, threatening to reveal everything the company says ever refuses. While Jenna learns the original agreement involved an item exchange, and Leo recognizes Inubashiri's ultimatum as a sign of desperation, deciding Rua's company membership makes this the perfect chance to investigate. Before the group heads toward Black Owl's towering headquarters, where Hayashi Miki unexpectedly joins Leo and questions his intentions, because Saint Moran secretly asked Miki to protect her new student, and Miki eagerly promised that she would keep Leo alive, now assuring him her professional disguise will keep her from interfering. While Leo marvels that Moran arranged everything with Hayashi Miki in advance, then enters Black Owl with Suzuko hidden nearby as a silent guard. As Akutsu informs Inubashiri that Leo arrived with a woman, and the waiting CEO calmly orders both visitors brought inside, where he courteously thanks Leo for accepting the invitation, before Akutsu suspiciously asks who Hayashi Miki is, leaving Miki momentarily unsure how to explain her presence, until Leo smoothly introduces the level's jurist as his secretary, while Inubashiri mocks the privilege and demands his promised items. But Leo claims there has been an obvious misunderstanding, insisting the dungeon rewards were already delivered to Black Owl, which provokes Tokura to condemn Leo's disrespectful tone, before Inubashiri sharply calls his subordinate by name, silencing Tokura beneath a flare of murderous corruption, as the nervous man remembers Leo is now a Saint student, and fears Inubashiri would punish him for starting a fight, though the CEO still warns Leo against becoming arrogant, prompting Leo to reveal that Rua accompanied him in blood hunting, identifying her as a member of Black Owl's Jenna Command Unit, and claiming the level B dragon handler took every dungeon spoil under company orders. So Inubashiri commands Akutsu to contact Rua immediately, while Akutsu hastily establishes the remote connection, reaching Rua as she sits alone inside a guarded bar, where the dragon handler cautiously answers Akutsu's call, only to hear that Amaika Leo's missing items are under investigation, prompting Rua to deny knowing either the goods or even Leo himself, though hidden Suzuko confirms she is the woman holding Daddy's spoils, as Inubashiri tests whether his bewildered subordinate truly knows nothing, and Rua dismisses Leo as merely another ordinary job holder, while warning that killing him would damage the company's reputation, convincing the calculating CEO that her claim sounds believable, before he asks to speak with Leo completely alone, and Leo readily agrees despite Hayashi Miki's concern, reassuring her that Suzuko will secretly remain beside him, until only Leo and Inubashiri face each other across the table, where the CEO demands to know why Rua tried protecting him, but Leo teasingly suggests that Inubashiri ask her directly, provoking the CEO to warn that he remains a special job holder, as suffocating crimson corruption floods the entire office, though Leo only mocks the display with fearless amusement, then produces something capable of stabilizing Inubashiri without murder, and casually tosses the promised solution across the table, claiming the free sample is merely a gesture of good faith, while coyly refusing to reveal exactly what it contains. Though Leo knows Suzuko purified crystals from devoured monsters to stabilize special job holders, as the desperate Inubashiri immediately asks what the cure will cost, and Leo answers by proposing a private business partnership, explaining that open circulation would make violent special job holders slaughter one another for it, leaving him to surrender it cheaply or find a buyer he trusts, so he invites Inubashiri to test the unlicensed medicine personally, while the CEO marvels at Leo's complete absence of fear before opening the container and taking the dangerous gamble, unleashing an enormous burst of crimson spiritual power which astonishes Leo with the cure's overwhelming effect as the violent surge tears through Black Owl's headquarters and detonates through the meeting room outside, prompting Hayashai Miki to shout for Leo in alarm before her green spiritual energy erupts across the shattered office, making Akutsu recognize the terrifying power he has seen before, as he realizes the supposed secretary concealed a famous identity, until Hayashai Miki activates her rebirth of creation, binding the startled employees with massive regenerating vines. As Miki tears through the wreckage while calling for Leo until Inubashiri emerges and recognizes Getsurin City's celebrated jurist, then claims she arrived too late because he already dealt with Leo, sending Miki's fury and spiritual power surging higher, while Inubashiri calmly praises the terrifying strength surrounding her, before Leo appears unharmed and urges Miki to stand down, as Hidden Suzuko explains the liberated CEO only wanted to test his restored power, leaving Miki uncertain whether Leo is truly safe, while Inubashiri suspects Leo researched his condition before arriving, though Leo calls that preparation necessary for mutual understanding, as the CEO confirms his job's corruption has decreased and asks how the cure is made, but Leo refuses to reveal the process before securing their partnership, privately knowing Inubashiri might faint if he learned about Suzuko's digestion, until Akutsu and the others rush in to check their boss, and Inubashiri silences them before formally accepting Leo's offer, prompting Leo to greet the decision with a confident smile. As Inubashiri proposes a 70-30 split in Leo's favor, and the two special job holders seal their alliance with a handshake, while Leo declares that he looks forward to working together, though Akutsu remains deeply alarmed after the young man departs, so Inubashiri asks whether Akutsu wants the reason behind their alliance, and hands his subordinate the remaining sample as proof, explaining that it stabilizes unique job holders and frees him to use his full strength, though he warns Akutsu that victory cannot be celebrated yet, because Leo and his miracle product are not completely under Black Owl's control, while Akutsu urges caution after Leo previously manipulated them, and Inubashiri rejects capturing someone who can command monsters, connecting the dungeon's unique monster, Moran's arrival, and Leo's sudden apprenticeship, as he reveals his earlier spiritual outburst was meant to test Leo's defenses, and recalls sensing something extraordinary shielding the young man, namely Suzuko's absurdly powerful presence combined with Leo's fairytale kingdom record, while Hayashi Miki's protection proves Moran also considers Leo an extraordinary irregularity, finally making Akutsu understand how dangerous Leo truly is, as Inubashiri chooses to invest in a dungeon expert seeking support outside the cooperative. Several hours earlier, Mike's Job Holder Club had already discussed the Saint student, with its leader insisting they hire high-level fighters before making a move, while injured Mike claims Leo possesses a secret even Moran wants, until mocking laughter suddenly echoes through the guarded lounge, making Mike rise and furiously challenge the unseen intruder, before warning the trespasser not to provoke him, as the revived silver-haired player openly laughs from a nearby seat, provoking Mike to smash the floor with his fist and loom over the intruder while demanding an explanation, as the club's armed guards surround their uninvited guest, ordering him to leave before the confrontation becomes fatal, though the stranger reminds Mike that they have met before, making the battle maniac finally recognize Leo's vengeful enemy, while the club leader commands his guards to seize him, and Mike tries to stop them before it is too late, only for the silver-haired player to welcome their charge with amusement, as every guard rushes him from multiple directions, before he activates the level a body-separating device, unleashing precise blades of severing magic through the attackers, leaving Mike stunned by the instantaneous counterattack, while the club leader also struggles to understand what happened, as the guards' separated bodies remain suspended around them, and the intruder casually explains that he only severed them a little, impressing the club leader with his exceptional job holder power, before the stranger reveals his interest in their plan for Leo, and proposes joining forces against their common enemy, as the club leader identifies him as Level S celebrity Luxter Ilya, then agrees that their shared interest deserves a detailed discussion. Meanwhile, Leo asks Miki about her current rank during the drive, and learns the cooperative now evaluates her as the strongest Level S job holder, leaving Leo genuinely awed by his companion's new status, though he suspects swallowing Whisperflower's core amplified her strength, combined with awakening through a Level S job card after ingesting monster remains, yet realizes the experiment cannot be duplicated without another job card, before Miki brings them to the address Black Owl provided, where Leo intends to confront the woman who enraged him, while Miki offers to intervene if his meeting turns violent, as Rua calmly empties another glass inside the bar, astonishing Anai with how much alcohol she can consume, though the dragon handler dismisses the amount and orders more, until Leo's voice announces that he finally found her, greeting Rua like an old acquaintance after their separation, while claiming he has been desperate to see her again, and sarcastically asks whether she feels the same, though Rua immediately rejects the act and demands his purpose, before Anai steps between them and insists on handling Leo himself, declaring Rua belongs with him and challenging Leo to go through him first, only for Rua to throttle Anai and demand Leo state his business, before the tense group relocates around a table laden with cake, where Rua demands proof that she stole Leo's dungeon loot, making Leo bristle at her shameless denial. while Miki asks what relationship exists between Leo and Rua, and both immediately identify the other as a rival, proving they remain perfectly synchronized even while glaring, as Miki nervously asks them to avoid an actual fight. Until Rua tests what Leo will do if she refuses the return, prompting Leo to warn Suzuko away from the bad woman across the table, though Suzuko cheerfully decides Rua is simply another bad woman, sending Rua lunging forward when Leo fills the monster's head with strange ideas, while Miki and Anai share an awkward silence over their rival's childish feud, before Anai cautiously urges everyone to calm down, as an injured stranger enters and asks for a Mikey Leo, drawing Leo's wary attention when he answers the summons, while the nervous visitor confirms he has found the right person, then starts unveiling something a mysterious patron entrusted to him, only for a monstrous mass of tentacles to erupt as Leo's delivery, shocking Rua, Miki, and Anai as the ambush engulfs their table, before a violent blast tears through the cafe, while the man overseeing the trap assumes his mission is complete, and reports finding Leo before demanding his promised payment, as his employer transfers the money and orders hired job holders to finish everything, leaving the greedy mastermind dreaming of a fortune made from Leo, while thick blue tentacles pin Leo inside the ruined cafe, and the attacker mocks what little Saint Moran's student supposedly amounts to, before the tentacles carry Leo and Suzuko away through the smoke, as more shadowy attackers advance into the devastated building, revealing warped bodies covered in writhing monster growths, whose green tendrils immediately seize everyone left behind, startling the mastermind when his captives resist, because Miki is already broken free with glowing spell circles, demanding to know whether their assailants are human or monsters in disguise, until Rua notices both Leo and Suzuko have vanished, making Miki realize the abduction was the true purpose of the attack, though she first suspects Rua, who angrily denies knowing the attackers, while Anai points out that only Leo and Suzuko were taken, leaving Miki irritated but focused on the remaining threat as Rua reacts to another wave closing in. And Anai warns that the battle is far from over when transformed job holders rush the trio from every direction, charging with blades, hardened limbs, and predatory speed, only for Miki to block the first strike with concentrated blue energy, before her eyes blaze and her level power erupts, blasting the surrounding attackers away in a single overwhelming shockwave, as Miki follows through with precise arcs of blue force, scattering every transformed fighter across the ruined cafe, while Rua admits that such power truly deserves level S, before Miki orders her to find Leo and Suzuko while she handles the mob, and Rua reluctantly accepts the command, leaving Miki to hold a crackling energy barrier against the attackers, though she already fears the incident will grow into something much bigger, especially when another armed wave immediately surrounds her. Meanwhile, Leo's captors celebrate an easy abduction inside a parking garage, as their guards prepare to confirm the prisoners' identities and move out, while drowsy Suzuko asks her daddy whether she can eat, and Leo quietly tells her to wait without alerting their kidnappers, before one guard crouches down and prods Leo awake with a drink, warning that a prepared magical formation will restrain any resistance, though Leo recognizes Tokura and asks whether his former boss changed plans, only for Tokura to admit he left Black Owl and expose the strange hired fighters, making Leo realize their power to graft monster flesh cannot belong to the company, before he asks whether money motivated Tokura to capture them, and Tokura leads him toward the mastermind waiting deeper inside, while one captor remains behind to guard the prisoners, until Mike strides through the smoke and demands his long-awaited punch, leaving Leo surprised that the battle maniac arranged this kidnapping, as Mike proposes a joint industry built around controlling dungeon monsters, then demands Leo's method because the captive supposedly cannot refuse, trusting a formation designed to withstand even a level attack, before Mike gathers golden power and promises Leo a world of pain, driving his armored fist down with crushing force, only for Suzuko's gigantic monster form to intercept the blow and detonate a red counterattack that hurls Mike through the wall, leaving the stunned battle maniac gasping after the impact, as he struggles to understand the harmless-looking girl's strength, while Suzuko's rage flares at anyone trying to hurt her daddy, and Leo proudly praises his terrifying girl, before giving Suzuko permission to unleash herself on every captor, sending his monster form surging forward in a storm of red power, as the panicked surveillance team reports that Leo brought a monster, and urgently requests backup while that energy spreads across the area, though Ilya recognizes Suzuko's nostalgic presence and welcomes two targets at once. Meanwhile, Rua feels the same monstrous spiritual power from the ruined cafe, realizing it must belong to Suzuko but struggling to locate its source, until Ilya smashes through the floor and races toward the disturbance, while Anai catches sight of the familiar fugitive disappearing below, prompting Rua to summon her black dragon, and order the beast to pursue Ilya's trail. Before Rua and Anai dive into the crater after him, back underground Suzuko towers over Leo in her enormous stitched monster form, while Leo calmly mocks how little the kidnappers amount to, as Suzuko's tendrils fling the remaining transformed fighters aside, until the furious Mike charges her with his armored claw, only to abandon that target and lunge straight at Leo, boasting that the restrained player cannot possibly defeat him, before Leo's gaze multiplies into cold red eyes and silences the threat, launching Mike away with another explosive red impact when Ilya suddenly enters the garage and announces his return to Leo, leaving Suzuko confused because she remembers the Luxtor dying. Though Ilya admits he was killed once and claims a savior has more than one life, declaring himself the savior among saviors as blue power erupts around him, while monstrous blue tendrils sweep the transformed fighters aside, and Ilya's allies welcome him before targeting Suzuko first, making Leo compare this savior to Luca and understand the strange revival, until the system warns his summoned monster remains on a 3-hour cooldown, a serious limitation as Mike descends with another golden strike, whose impact tears open the concrete floor. Though Ilya meets the attack and earns Bard Mike's surprised respect, while Leo senses danger and urgently calls Suzuko, who hurls herself between her daddy and the incoming blow. Before Ilya reveals he can influence the surrounding humans as well as monsters, only for Suzuko to smash the controlled fighters away and silence them, as Ilya invites Leo to witness the full extent of his power, gathering luminous golden symbols around his outstretched hand, then firing an enormous golden blast directly at Suzuko, leaving Leo alarmed by an ability he cannot identify, before he shouts for Suzuko to dodge. Yet Mike catches Leo and drives him into the concrete, taunting that the player is worthless without his monster, until Suzuko sees her daddy pinned and rushes back in fury, bearing monstrous fangs as her red eyes blaze, before knocking Leo clear of the immediate clash, though Mike catches him again and demands the secret behind his power, allowing Leo to use Mike's grafted monster hand and activate Summon, ripping golden spiritual energy from the shocked battle maniac, as Ilya's remaining fighters charge to regain control, trusting their superior numbers to overwhelm Suzuko while she fiercely orders everyone away from her daddy, only for Leo to tell Suzuko that these enemies belong to him, as he darts through the mob and raises his summon count to 3, then converts more stolen energy into 5 circling spiritual flames, compressing another golden spirit into his waiting palm, until the system confirms 10 successful summons and startles Ilya, before Leo asks whether a savior can revive after being consumed, and calls forth the massive tentacled fused monster B, whose coils instantly close around the screaming Ilya, while the summoned monster's enormous body dominates the stunned battlefield, until Leo notices familiar allies entering through the smoke, as Rua and Anai find the abductors already defeated and joke that nothing remains for them, though Leo cautiously asks whether anyone else accompanied them, and Rua explains that Miki is restraining more enemies outside, when an eerie purple voice suddenly laughs inside Leo's mind, dragging him and Suzuko into a shadowy mental world, where Leo realizes Suzuko remains beside him despite the psychic displacement, before Philomena of the Apparition Association appears and connects herself to Doll, then answers Leo's wary question by declaring that her kind has come to serve him.